hi. How is everybody? Well, yeah, should I go through and say hi to everyone? I don't know if Leslie's still here, but hi, Leslie. We were talking offline about our Udis, which I will talk about my Udi here soon. But hello, and Drago Hype, hello. Loco Sparrow, taco, taco, taco. Blue Sylveon, what would you like me to call you here on Twitch? You want me to just call you Sylveon? I don't. you want me to just call you Sylveon here on Twitch? What do you want me to call you? But yeah, thanks for stopping by the stream. I appreciate it. Taco, taco, taco. Card capture card, like card capture, bruh. But yeah, guys, what's up? How y'all been? Miss you all too. It's been a wild ride, and after tomorrow's stream, I'll be gone probably for another week. I'm so sorry. We're going on a little vacation, and then after that, I don't know what's happening after that. But I should be able to get back into stream more. I am super cozy, Sparrow. Super cozy. This is like, okay. So first of all, not a sponsorship, it's not a partnership. I'm not getting paid from this, but I did sign up with the Udi. Again, I don't get paid for this. It's not on commission or anything. They just sent me this to help promote their stuff. So here is the link if you would like to check it out. But so okay, this is called an Udi, right? It's basically like wearing a full body blanket. Like it goes down to my knees, right? It's super duper comfy. Look at the inside. It's super thick. It's like, I don't think it's Sherpa. I could be wrong, but like it feels like I'm wearing a Sherpa blanket on my entire body, and it's fucking amazing. No, I'm not, and I'm okay with that, Sparrow, because that means I get to help you guys save money and not feel scummy about me getting money out of it, because then I don't feel like I'm pressuring you guys to buy anything, you know? I'm just spreading the love of this Udi because this thing is so fucking comfy. Like, for real, I could wear this all day if I wasn't super duper hot. Computers are space heaters, by the way. So they make the room a little toasty whenever I'm gaming, but if they're off, I want to wear this like all the time. When I first got it, I took it out of the package, I immediately put it on. It's like, oh, it's like a big warm hug. I wore it for like hours that day. Everyone let the bits rain and start falling. No, you don't gotta pay me for shit. But if you do want your own Udi, there is a link up above in the chat, or I guess for screen wise it's that way. But there's a link over there if you want to get your own Udi. I got the koala one. It also has pockets. You can fit a whole ass cat in here, guys. I'm not even joking. But like, if you want to curl up, you can like put your legs in it, and like you still got like a ton of room. Look at how long this thing is. Look at it's so nice. It's comfy, cozy, and warm. You have cat, can confirm, right? See, you can put your own cat in there. And it's a koala. Exactly. Koalas are my fave. It's so nice. And it's just huge. But yeah. The code, Simply Syntasia, if you actually want to get one, it'll take $30 off your entire order. Like, that's amazing. Super awesome. But yeah, look at the inside. It's so soft. I kind of want to show you guys what they have, actually. Hold on. I just kind of want to show you all what they have. Because I think that these designs are dope. So. The packages. They got packages that, like, you can get a ton off the like, total price that would normally be. But, look. There's an avocado toast one? Yo. Leslie wore theirs to the grocery store. See, it's just fully functional. Bruh. Look at these though. Look at the panda. Look at the panda. It's so cute. They have so many good designs. I didn't know which one I wanted. It took me a while to like actually decide on which one I wanted. They have a sloth one. Look at that sloth. So cute. Oh my god. I don't remember a lot of these designs actually. What's this? Coca? What is that? It's like a weighted blanket. Yeah, it kind of is. What is this? That is adorable. Oh my gosh. That's adorable as heck. I also greatly enjoy the purple tie-dye. Greatly enjoy. Also, for you Harry Potter fans, they have houses. Here's a Hufflepuff one. Look at it. It's so cute. They have Friends. You have Looney Tunes, Rick and Morty. Oh, dude. Y'all can get you a Pickle Rick one. It was so hard to pick between purple and green, right? I know. The purple one is so good. Purple one is so good. Dude, these are so nice. And then they also have oversized shirts. So if you're not like super into the like super like comfy coziness and like blanketiness of this, you can get like a shirt, especially if you're like in a warmer state or warmer country. You get a shirt and duffel bags. Oh my god, I didn't see this one before. What? What? I didn't see this before. They have pillows? They have pillows? You can get an avocado and toast. No way. Where's Avo? He needs to see this. It's ordered between the purple and green tie-dye. You want the oh yeah, you already read that. I wanted the plants one. I know the plants one is so good. They didn't want to give you a pillow. You know what? Maybe one day I might get the pillow. You never know. I'm gonna buy my own stuff. What are these accessories? Oh my gosh. I saw this. That's so nice. That's so cute. Oh man. Now I want this stuff. I would rather be at Hogwarts. That's adorable. Oh my god. But anyways, that's the hoodie. Again, if anybody would like to check it out for themselves, there is the link. They're super cool. I like them a lot. It's so comfy. Alright, I'm gonna get off of this now before I end up buying more. There we go. Yes, there's the hoodie. Hope you guys enjoyed looking at that. But this is so comfy. I'm gonna be wearing this like all night. It's super comfy. Super duper comfy. Anyways, how are you guys doing? So far, my capture card has not imploded my stream, so there's that. We'll see what happens when it goes full screen. We all think. You think it's gonna let me stream today? Do you think my capture card's gonna cooperate? Fingers crossed it does. Too bad discount code doesn't work for pillows. Wait, it doesn't? Bruh. Heck. Did you just try that? Oh my god, hold on. I need to go check that myself. Oh my god, it doesn't. What? No way. What? What? Oh, what? Oh my god, so many pop-ups are happening on my screen right now. Alright. Why? It doesn't! Wow! Alright. So, I guess the discount code is only for like the actual hoodie itself. Interesting. Send them an email! No, dude, I could like... So, after the stream, I'm supposed to send them an email anyways, and I can like give them some suggestions maybe. I don't know if they want the promo to only be for the hoodie and like that's like their business plan, like their marketing plan. But I think it'd be awesome if it would work for like the pillows and stuff. But you know what? Thinking about it though, how much are the pillows? Oh, see, I don't know if they can differentiate stuff like that because the code that I have gives you $30 off. The pillows are only 50, so like that'd be taking off more than half the price of the pillows. So that might be why they aren't allowing it to be used on pillows. Probably because it would have been like 20 bucks. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking. It's Fisher Soup! Oh my gosh, hello! That's what you just said. I know. I didn't read before I talked. Soup, hello! We were just talking about my hoodie. It's super duper comfy and cozy. And warm and snuggly. Doesn't work for the duffels either? Oh man. See, that's a little surprising. I wonder if it works for the weight blanket. It might literally only work for the actual hoodie itself. It looks, and no, it is super cozy. It's like, I'm equating it to wearing like a Sherpa blanket all over your body. It's actually amazing. And if you would like to check them out yourself, there's a link for it. How are you doing today, Soup? Hope you're having a good day. We're gonna be playing some Last of Us 2 here soon. Oh my god, Quilpy! Quilpy! Oh my god! Quilpy! Guys! What the heck? What the heck? How are you guys doing?
We have a
Oh my god, I'm sorry. I need to actually pay attention to what I'm reading. Sarsh? I'm so sorry. I don't know how to say your name. Sarshinra? I'm sorry if I totally butchered that. Thank you for the follow and welcome in. Oh my gosh, you guys have such difficult names. I'm so sorry. I'm not the best at reading. Okay, I'm gonna attempt this. I'm so sorry. And Bewitched in Books. I can read your name. Thank you so much for the follow, you three. Also, let me know how badly I butchered your name and what you'd like for me to call you. But welcome in. Also, PC Mythos, Tanya, Cadis. Welcome in. Clippy, how was your stream? Skypia? Had to verify your phone number? Yes, that is a new thing that Twitch is implementing. I implemented it in my channel. First time viewers have to verify their phone number and email address because I'm tired of bots. But yes, welcome in everybody. How are you all doing? Supposed to be Starshine, but she missed the T when making it. Oh no! Oh no! You had a bizarre day. I got in the trouble because you were supervised. Oh heck! Oh heck! Hopefully they get too much trouble. Yes, how is your stream, Quilpy? Let me get you a shout out. Cause I forgot to look into that on my stream deck earlier. Oops. Yes, it's the new Twitch safety settings. That is correct. Heck, it's supposed to be Starshine Rach, but messed up and can't fix your name until December. No, I'm so sorry. Starshine Rach. Do you want me to call you Rach or Starshine or Star? I'm so sorry about that. But hey, good thing is October's almost over. And then you'll have to wait 2 more months. Time is flying by. It'll be here before you know it. Before you know it. Thank you, Leslie, for putting the hoodie in there. But yeah, what Quilpy just posted was, this is the hoodie. And if you guys would like to check out one for your own, the link is there. The code gets you $30 off. I don't get anything from it. I'm just spreading the love and trying to get you guys discounts on things. That's it. That's it. You're a bot, but highly advanced. Oh my god. You're a huge Tangled fan too? Oh my gosh, no way. I love Tangled. It's my favorite Disney movie. And my stuff on my channel is like loosely based on Tangled. The lanterns there in the background you see floating, the ones in the back are like the Tangled lantern, but the ones in the foreground, those are all drawn by members of our community. I put them all together and now they're just floating for us. It's super cute, and I cried when I put that together, like showed everybody on the stream. I was a mess, but like I love it so much. Everyone knows. Oh my gosh, thank you for sharing. I appreciate you. I'm glad to meet another Tangled fan. Hope you're doing well. I'm doing well. Good to hear you're doing good too. Allergies. I am so thankful. I had my little allergy bout earlier, like a month ago. And I think that was just purely from animals. So I actually haven't had my seasonal allergy mess yet. Fingers crossed it doesn't happen. Oh man, but you played Animal Crossing. How is Animal Crossing? I'm like the only person who actually said your name remotely correct, but call you Aki? Okay, will do. I'm glad that I kind of said it almost correct. I'm sorry for butchering both of your names. Rach is good. Yes. Okay, Rach. I will make a note of that actually right now. Let me click on your name real quick. Rach. Okay, there we go. Made a note of that so I will remember. Have I watched the series? I watched a few episodes. I can't remember if I watched the entire series, but I have watched a few of the episodes of the series. And if you actually look at my about section, the little flags that go across in my panels down there are actually from that. My friend drew those and based it off of the animated series. So all hoodies a weighted blanket can use code, but other stuff cannot. So like even the shirts can't, I'm assuming, because they're discounted price too. So hoodies a weighted blanket. Nice. Yo, Sparrow! You're right! You're right! These would be very good for the holiday season. I actually, one of my friends said that they wanted to get one for somebody for Christmas. I need to finish it? Oh man. I will look at my Netflix and see how far I got into it. I might have finished it, I just don't remember. It's been a hot second. How about we don't? There we go. Oh man. Bruh, how did you get unbanned? Oh man. Also, how did they get past... How did they get past the thing? That's so weird. You'd love it here. Oh my god. Quilpy, thank you again for the raid. How was Animal Crossing, Quilpy? Sorry y'all had to see that. You want the up? What? Oh yeah, Cactobot is up, but I'm wondering how that got past like the 3 bots I have in place, actually. It's very interesting. Rapunzel and Eugene is the best Disney couple. Dude, I love it so much. I want to cosplay Rapunzel so bad. So bad. I don't know if I want to do the brown hair version like towards the end, or if I want to try to get like the big long blonde wig. Sorry for caps lock. How long is the good? Oh, how long is the code good for? It is good forever, as far as I know. That's what the FAQ said anyways. So you can use it whenever you want. Varian is best boy and Cassie is wifey. Wait. Oh man. Is that from the animated series? Because let me be real honest, I don't remember any of the names from the animated series. I'm so sorry. You feel great here. I'm so glad. Trev, how are you doing? How was your break, Trev? We banned at the same time, so you're just accidentally unbanned. Oh, that's how that happened. Oof. Oof, I'm so sorry. You have to get to bed, but... Oh my gosh, Quilpy. Thank you again so much for the raid. I appreciate you. Let me see one thing real quick. Sorry, my brain just like had a moment. Okay, but anyways, thank you so much for the raid. I hope you have a great night. Get some good sleep. And I'll see you again another day. Have a good night, Quilby. It was good you just got home from Texas and you're saying hi to everybody. Trev! Oh my god. I forgot that you were on vacation. I just remembered that you took a break. I couldn't remember why. Dude, how is Texas? How is Texas? What did you do there? Give me the deets. How was your vacation? What did you do? Yeah, so for everyone who came in on Quilpy's raid, what do you guys like to play? Like, what are your favorite games? And if you're not a gamer, well, first tell me your games that you like to play, if you play games. If you're not a gamer, what are some of your favorite TV shows? Personally, I don't really watch a whole lot of TV, and when I do, it's just Netflix. But my favorite games, that's such a hard thing to say. Right now, currently, in this very moment, I like to play a lot of FPS games, and we've been on like a pretty big Apex kick in Valorant, and Overwatch has always been a staple. So like those three probably are my top 3 FPS games right now. I can't remember what else right now. But yeah, those are my top 3 right now. Witcher is one of my favorite single player games. It's like story games. So nice. This one, your girlfriend's mom lives there, so you went to visit? Oh my gosh, that's so fun! That's so fun! I would like to look at the unban request actually, because I've never had one, I don't think. So I want to keep all of my unban requests and go through them on stream, because I don't think I've ever actually had a real person be banned before. Now that I think of it, I think they've all been bots. That might be my first real troll. You like to play Genshin Impact the most, but you like a wide variety of games, so it's hard to pinpoint? Oh man. Well, what are some of your, like, the ones that you think have had a big impact on you, maybe? I don't know. I know, it's like such a hard question. I haven't gotten into Genshin Impact yet. I'm hoping to eventually. And I also want to get a New World. So like Genshin Impact and New World I want to get into eventually. But I have so many games I'm playing right now, I just haven't had a chance. Oh, it's the same thing as in chat? Interesting. Yeah, I want to keep the requests. So like if you ever see an unbanned request come through, just kind of leave it. And I want to go through them on stream. I think it'd be hilarious. Alright. Let's see. I think I'm gonna go ahead and switch over to the game now. Sanity's first troll. You know, I remember there were 4 people who came into chat with like very offensive names to try to get a rise out of me. And I did ban them, but I can't remember. Or I think Alex banned them actually. But I can't remember if they submitted any ban requests. I don't think they did. If they did, I went off on them. But I don't think they did. Also guys, for everyone who is new here, the music you hear in the background is by the lovely Honey Ducky. So feel free to check them out as well and support their Spotify. But I'm going to shut off the music for right now because I want to switch over to the game. Yeah, I definitely understand. I definitely understand that. I would much rather have Among Us PP over your trolls any day. Your trolls were obnoxious and hurtful. Alrighty, I'm trying to figure out where to put my phone that's like not obnoxious. There we go. Alright. Oh my god, it's actually capturing? What is this? No way. That's never happened before. It actually capturing on the first try. Wow. Crazy. Sandy's first troll. I know. I know. I get an award now. Nah, they were my first troll. I just think they're the first like real person who actually sent in a request. El Tater. Oh my god, Tater. I like taters. How are you doing? You like the vibe it had? Wait, you like the vibe that what had? Oh, the music? If you like the music, you definitely would like all of their music. And Ducky's also in a band called Two Last Names, so feel free to check them out too. But the link that I posted is just to theirs. I should take a pic with the unmarried request and me with a lunchbox as a first day of school thing. Oh my gosh, that'd be amazing. That would actually be amazing. Figure out how to escape wasps in Animal Crossing? Yeah, you just go into a building. Talking to people unfortunately doesn't make them go away, but if you go into a building, it should. Oh no! Did my capture card stop working? My stream should still be up, right? You know what? Wanna be Tangled Besties? Hell yeah, Aki. I would love to be Tangled Besties. Give me 1 second, guys. You're doing well, how am I? It's the first time you see me live. Oh my god, you were seen by the Lady Valorant. That's awesome. That is so cool. I'm glad that you stopped by though. We're having a little bit of a technical difficulty right now. I'm so sorry. But I thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. It's great to see you. I already downloaded the update. There it goes. Okay. I might just have to play in small window mode. Unless this is not gonna work at all. Heck. Also, you'd make such an adorable Rapunzel. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I hope I would be cute as Rapunzel. I love cosplaying. So it's literally my dream to cosplay her. Alright, capturing software. Are we gonna work today? Are we gonna work today? Somehow. I think that's a no. I just got an internal capture card, guys. And the first time I tried to use it, it crashed my entire computer. Okay. It's up. It's up now. Can I please go full screen? Please. Please? Please stay. Please stay. You're a cosplayer? Oh my god. Aki. Wait, okay. What do you cosplay? Felt that the past 2 nights have been Twitch / bandwidth issues, technical difficulties at the wazoo. Right? Right? Craziness. I feel like every time I get on Twitch, something happens. Thank you for clipping that. You're making Cassandra from the series cosplay. Oh my god. I don't know if I read that right, but that's amazing. That's amazing. I would be cute. Take your sparrow. You don't like when computers crash? I know, right? Right? My graphics card has made my computer crash many a times. It's not fun. Talking to people, unfortunately, doesn't make them go away. Wait, what? Did I say that? Oh no. Oh no. You like playing such a Ark Survival? Oh my gosh. I haven't played that yet. I have it, but I haven't played it. It looks so good. But Rico, welcome in. I hope you're doing well. And you also play ACNH and Samurai Warriors. That's amazing. Samurai Warriors also looks good. I haven't really seen much of that, but it does look good. Also, can we just talk about how my capture card likes to move the window down all the time. And how it just froze again. Holy. Alright, alright, alright. Capture card, you get one more shot. Actually, let me see if I can change some of the settings here. Can I change the resolution? What if I change the resolution down? 1280 720. Let's try that. And then we're going to restart the capture card. Yeah, it's some. Oh, you got Danganronpa characters. Oh my gosh, Merida, no way, no way. Not let me cosplay for a year. Oh my gosh, Aki, do you have your like pictures of your cosplay on like Instagram or something? I would love to see them. Just not using the right words. With practice, you can make people go away very quickly. You prefer long drawn out puns. Oh my gosh, dude. Long drawn out puns are the best. Why would that make people go away? It wasn't Lady Valorant. Oh, it was Josh. Josh is one of the really good friends of our community. That's awesome. You're not Rapunzel your favorite? Aki, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, we're gonna get along great, Aki. If you would like to, see one of mine, I'm pretty sure I posted at least one of mine on my social. I can't remember if I posted my other ones or not, or if I just put them in Discord. I might have just put them in Discord. You do have an Instagram, but you only post your TikToks? Oh, I gotcha, I gotcha. Well, if you want to post any of your cosplays in the Discord, feel free to do that. With the best puns, you can actually see a person's life force leave their body. Oh no! Oh no. Ooh, 83%. Let's go. Alright, we're gonna stay on this window. Stay on the window. We're going. Oh my god, I can't stay on the window when it does that. Alright, alright. 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 We're gonna stay here for like a minute. Just to make sure it doesn't go away. Oh, heck, I also have it muted. Oh no. Oh no, 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 no. Where do I have it muted from? Did I just make it freeze again? I did. Guys, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to play Last of Us tonight. Heck. Oh, yeah! Tater, so I work for conventions. It's gonna be a really long story, I'm so sorry. But I work for conventions, so I get to meet a bunch of VAs and stuff, and one of the VAs I met got me in contact with the voice actor for Skye in Valorant. Sorry, my brain is like, what's happening? But yeah, so I got in contact with Miranda O'Hare, which is the voice actress for Skye in Valorant, and I'm on for her now. So that's probably what he told you. I also would like to get into VA work myself, but I don't know how that's gonna work out, or when that would work out. But we'll see. We'll see if that becomes a thing. Alright, capture card. Can you not do that, though? Okay. Next time you get into cosplay, you'll probably, be next week on your week off for college. Heck yeah! I can't wait for that. Last year, for Halloween week, I spent the entire week leading up to Halloween cosplaying when I streamed. So every day was a different cosplay. And that's what I'm wondering if I think I put that on Instagram, but I can't remember. I can't remember at all if I did that or not. But I know it's in Discord, but I don't want you to scroll back an entire year. I could also just post them again in Discord. But Dead by Daylight with you, I might do Life is Strange if I can't get this to work. I also don't want to get into a game and it just like not work. But okay, let's see if it actually does work real quick. Continue. Let's see if it will work if I just force the game to play. Yes, Aki. Oh my gosh. Do you stream, by the way, Aki? Because if you do, I will definitely follow you after stream. Makes sense. Your brain, your main shtick is you sound like Steve Bloom. Wait, really? Dude, that's so cool. So do you play Valorant and just like go around doing Brimstone voice lines? Because that'd be hella hilarious. It'd be so fun. You could act it out with pins as the characters. I could if I knew the storyline. I feel like that would be a main thing of like you actually need to know what's happening in the game to be able to act it out. You do? Oh my god. Wait, hold on. Tater, we need to play together sometime because that's amazing. We definitely need to play together sometime. I just make it up. You know what? That would actually make some great content. Not gonna lie, not gonna lie. Alright, I'm sorry if you guys can't hear the game. I literally cannot tab out of this or else it will not be great. But yeah, I think my capture card's working now. So, where do I need to go? I don't remember what I'm doing in this game at all. I just gotta go straight. Also, don't remember how to do things.
Sure seems quiet.
Oh, okay, hold on. Yeah, I'm gonna have to up the volume on this. Oh wait, I don't need an alt tab. I can just yeet up the volume right now. Right, that works. You can't hear the ambiance, can you? You're pretty occupied with school, so you have no time. Wait, hold on. Did I miss anything before that? Okay, no, I didn't. You're pretty occupied with school, so you have no time. Also, your stuff is really trash. Oh no, it's not trash. It's not trash. Also, you draw. All right. Okay, yeah, I'm checking out all your stuff after stream. Checking out all your stuff after stream. Do the sound effects yourself. Good practice for voice work, dude. Okay, so actually though, I saw somebody like turn off their sound for something once, and like they did all the like sound effects and stuff themselves on TikTok and like made it a series. I kind of want to do that. I think that'd be hilarious. You'd be down for any kind of content. You like my vibe? Oh my gosh! Well, thank you. That'd be awesome. I am in a campaign in D&D right now.
Whoa,
Okay, yeah, that's not working right now. Oh god. Okay, hold on. I need to turn the volume up. Please don't crash my capture card. Alright, but yeah, that'd be great. I'm in a campaign right now, and I only want to do like one campaign at a time, if possible.
WLF. Trespassers killed on sight.
Alright.
That's friendly.
Because it's a little overwhelming for me, and I don't really understand D&D a whole lot.
Where is everyone?
But, after this campaign, I would be down to do another one potentially, maybe. We'll see. Go for it, bruh. Wait, wait. I am gonna cyber stalk you. Maybe not all night. Maybe for like a good 5 minutes. Just because I'm super excited and I do want to see your artwork and your stream and follow you and stuff. But yes. You're going to wait, oh god. Hold on. You're going to college for art, so the next year you can hopefully get an animation course. Get hired by Disney? Yo! That's amazing! Do you live near a Disney? Or do you plan on like relocating? Disney is literally the best. Okay, maybe not literally the best, but like it's a dream to like do something with Disney, you know? Alright, she starts up there, above, so we need to get up there somehow. I don't know what I'm doing. Oh! L3 to look. There we go. You shoot me an email. Wait, do you have Discord, Tater? I respond to Discord much faster. If you happen to have a Discord. You have many Instagrams, let me get them all. Oh my gosh, alright. Yo, okay, for those of you who are going to be sending me stuff, the best way to do it is on Discord because I check that pretty often. So, yeah, is that UPS truck? Yo, wait, this one? Yo, wait, is it actually a UPS truck? That's definitely a UPS truck. You can't tell me it wasn't modeled after a UPS truck. Oh man. People keep teasing you with D&D and then never do it. Oh man. I'm so sorry. Everyone deserves better than Disney in terms of art? Wait, what does that mean? What's a studio to you as Vancouver, you think? But might have to move. Oh, so you're in Canada. Oh man. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I didn't know. That's awesome. I guess I didn't realize that Canada had a Disney. I'm dumb. I'm so sorry. You grew up with Disney and it made you super happy and you want Disney for other kids, right? Right? That would be super awesome. Alright, what am I meant to be doing again? Supposed to be getting up there? But yeah, I honestly think that working for Disney, well, some people have their qualms with it. I think it'd be fun just to at least do it once, you know? I like Disney as a company. Well, maybe not as a company. Let me rephrase that. I like Disney as an idea. I've heard some things about their company, but honestly, if you get the opportunity to work for them, that'd be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that you should definitely not pass up. Oh, what's this?
These were soldiers from the QZ. See the Fedra uniforms?
You think it was the WLF?
Yeah,
Oh, it's a studio. That's way different than...
That's fucked up.
That's true. You would definitely have to work at a studio. I don't know why I was thinking park. Yeah, you definitely have to work at a studio if you were, animating. I'm sorry, my brain is not on right now. Once I start playing a game, my brain just is like, oh, where did it go? On vacation. When you work for Disney as artist, everything you create, even in your own time, is owned by Disney. Yeah, that is one thing. Unless you can get it in your contract that says otherwise, all of your stuff do be owned by Disney. But, if you're only doing it for a short time and just want to do it as like a once in a lifetime thing, you know? Go for it. Especially, like, I don't know. I guess it really depends on like what you want to do with your stuff. I'd still go for it, honestly. There's stuff in there, and I want to see what that note says. Yeah, see what the note says? That's shiny. I want to see what the shiny is. Shiny. Alright, alright. Sure, you can also animate your own things on the side as well. It really depends on what your contract with them says, Aki. A lot of people that work with them,
Are these cages?
everything that they do on their own time, like on the side, is also technically owned by Disney, and they can have, not IP over it, but copyright over it. So, if you ever do work with Disney, you gotta make sure that you, definitely read everything that they try to put in your contract, and definitely, if there's anything in there that you don't like, make sure that you, talk to them about it, because you can always, like, negotiate stuff. I don't know if that's negotiable with them, but I definitely would try to negotiate that. Alright, is there anything in here? You hear that? Every Blood Mutant intern is sacrificed to Mickey to keep him satiated. The last time they didn't do it, something about being nausea approved. Mickey went on a rampage to the park. Oh god. Oh god. High-pitched laughter. They think it's good enough to steal them, maybe you're talented enough. Oh, that's one way to look at it. That's one way to look at it. Ooh, wait. Heck. Okay. Oh! What am I doing a hint for? I don't need a hint. Heck out of here with the hints. I don't need a hint. I'm just exploring. Just exploring. Bruh. Wait. Pops and Chris. What? Bruh. I'm just exploring, don't mind me. Don't mind me. Mickey's an a-hole. He's so mean. Oh my gosh, poor Mickey. Poor Mickey. Oh, I need to change my game. Crap. Okay, hold on. And last of us are 2. And there we go. Cool. Alright, capture card. Don't implode on me. Please, thank you. Oh no, it's stuttering. Alright, I think it's good. I think it's good. Wait. What's EHE? Or is that just you on EHE?
Not an old tourist map.
Sorry, I'm dense sometimes. Welcome to Seattle. We're in Seattle? I don't remember most of the things about this game. It's been so long since stuff broke. Oh man. Yeah, this is pretty early in the game. I was only able to stream it once before my PlayStation broke. I fixed it though. I just ripped off a piece of the bottom. Get to the gate, look for a soldier named Kieran. Tell him I sent you, then give him the kilo and he'll get you inside the wall. I think Keelan's dead. Kieran? I can't remember what his name was already. Oh no. Oh no, 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 no. No, it's just you getting- okay, okay. I thought maybe that's what that was, but I'm also very, not in with the hip new slang of Twitch and TikTok. But, you know. A master technician move. Exactly, exactly. Just gotta rip shit off. Wait, can I get on top of this? Oh! Okay, I need to get over there again. I think, actually. Jump down. Whee! Thank God for no fall damage. Whee! Alright. Can I run? How do I run? Oh, that's how I shoot. Oh, that's how I punch. That's how I crouch. Wait, what's that? Oh, that's how I aim. How do I put that away? Flashlight. Alright, cool. I don't need to crouch anymore. You're okay. How did I do that? Alright, cool. Alright. I think we're good. I think we're good. So over here, gonna jump up on this. They wouldn't hire you because of your tattoos? Wait, is that actually a thing? Oh, fuck! Alright, I'm dumb. I'll go back. Yeah, I think it's really dumb that different companies won't hire people if they have, like, tattoos or different colored hair. Or piercings in the wrong spot. Like, that's so dumb. Because any of that makes you less of a good person, right? That's
Dina,
definitely how that works.
Hold me up here. Okay.
We just don't hire because you have piercings? Where do you have piercings at? Because if they're on your ears, or if they're in a spot where you can easily take them out,
I'll keep an eye out.
then
Just
normally
see if
it's
you can
fine.
get the gate open from the other side. Sounds good.
I'll have dumb rules from the olden times, right? I think it used to be might be different now. You applied to be a pyrotech. Whoa, really? You applied to Disney? Heckin' goals. Heckin' goals. Dude, I found out about the intern program way past the time of me being able to be an intern. It would have been so cool to do like the Disney intern program. You know, parkour is really not my strong suit here. There might be a way up over there. Okay. We're gonna attempt to jump. Oh, that's not where I want to go. Right here is where I want to go. How do I get in there? How do I... Nope, that's not it. There we go. That's the button. That's how I did that earlier. Nice. Nice. Septum and tongue. I don't think you can take the tongue one out, right? But your septum you should be able to take it, I think. No, I killed Ellie! Oh, press L. That would have been nice to know. L1 and X to jump further. Game, that would have been nice to know. Oh yeah, there's something you can just like flip it up, right? It works better if you yell parkour! Parkour! Oh my god. He used to have 2 teardrops, but then there was an incident in the park and they didn't sacrifice the intern. Now it's pretty much just a waterfall. Wait, who are we talking about now? Who had the teardrops? I'm so confused. Alright. Maybe it did tell me, I just didn't look. Oh my god!
Ellie? I'm good.
Oh god. Oh, you have pink one that matches the color of your tongue? Okay, I think that might be okay. You might be able to hide it. Just like, don't stick your tongue out at them, you know? They might take offense to that in general, just sticking your tongue out, but like, you know. It should be fine. It should be fine. Alright.
Where are these fuckers?
How do I run? Is there a way to run? I don't think there's a way to run. Oh, wait, that might be how you run. Wait, is that another thingy up? Wait, go up there. Go up there. Yeah, what's up here? Is there fancy stuff up here? Some loot that I'm not supposed to know about? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Chessmaster trading card. Ooh, he got millions of hands though. We got ourselves a trading card. Just walk around with your tongue out, just going. You imagine? Oh man. Piss off some old ladies. Wait, no, I want to read that! Shit. Hit the wrong button. I'm not used to PlayStation. Dog pant. Oh man. You have a natural split in your tongue? Wait, do you actually? Did I know this? I don't think I knew this. People gonna die tonight? What in the world? Are you talking about the game? Oh, a lot of blood on Mickey's gloves. Oh, here's... I got it. The little... I got it. See, I'm a little slow when I'm playing games. I'm so sorry. Alright, what do we have over here? Anything? No. What's this? Oh, a glass. A little bottle. Give me the little bottle. Is there anything in there? No. I just yeeted into my backpack. Alright, so the power's not working.
How do I get you power?
Happy 50th to Disney? Actually, I was at Disney for their 50th. Don't at me, but I went like last year. At the very end of the year. When they were doing all like the COVID precautions. So like it was super duper safe. And that's why I went, because they reduced the amount of people there to like 17%, I want to say is what they said. And they had everybody like socially distanced. They wiped stuff down, sprayed stuff. They had hand sanitizer all throughout the park. It was so nice. I felt a lot safer there than I normally would on like a regular non-COVID time. But yeah. So I went to Disney during like their 50th and got like a little key that said like their 50th anniversary on it. It is super cute. It was really nice. Break glass with bricks, bottles, bullets, and melee. Oh! I understand. How do I do that? That works. Are my streams always Tangled themed? Yes! That is roughly the theme of my entire layout and setup and stuff. Tangled. And all of my alerts are Tangled themed. Except for the music. I made the words to different Disney songs.
Okay.
And I sung them myself. So they're technically Disney themed, but not Tangled themed. But the pictures for my alerts are Tangled themed.
The Saravana base. That's something.
Alright, cool. How were the lines? The lines were amazing. There was hardly anybody in the park. The longest I had to wait, even like Space Mountain, that normally it's like a 3-hour wait. I think I waited a max of like 10 minutes for that. Like the longest I waited for any ride was the Haunted Mansion because I went right before Halloween. And that Haunted Mansion, it was only like a 30-minute wait. So the lines were spot on, but the park was open for less hours. So it was a little trade-off, you know?
Oh, that's a generator.
Alright, so we got a little Jin here. It is Dead by Daylight now. Last year was the 50th, I do believe. Is that the 50th or the 55th, actually? You know what? It might have been the 50th in 2016. Yeah, I think it was the 50th in 2016, and then the 55th was this year. Or last year, I mean. Wait, does that make sense? That doesn't make sense. I don't remember.
Shit.
Right? I'm just so okay. My only issue with me keeping the Tangled theme is if like I get bigger, Disney could come after me, but like I don't really see that happening. But I have a backup plan. If they do come after me, we're switching to koalas. Also heckin' yawn. But yeah, we're switching to koalas if Disney does come after me. Your favorite ride is Peter Pan? Oh my gosh, the Peter Pan one is so nice. I thought I did know I might, I just forgot. My brain literally dumps information on a regular basis. Your friend told you Disney was celebrating their B-Day? Yeah, it could be. It could be their 55th, actually. I don't remember, it's a 50-something. This year is 50, okay. So this year is 50th. What did I go to Disney in 2016 for? I guess it would have been the 45th? I don't know, man. Cause now I remember seeing, okay. Give me a second. Cause now I remember seeing like banners. And I wanna know what that was for. Give me a second, I'm looking this up. Cause it's gonna bug me if I don't. It might have been their 45th. Where was this? There it is. Oh! Yeah, no, that's something totally unrelated, I think. Disneyland themselves was celebrating 60 years in 2016. Yeah. Okay, Disney World 50th. That makes a lot more sense. Because Disneyland celebrated their 65th this year then, right? That makes a lot more sense. Hey Josh! Your friend Tater is here. We've been talking to Tater tonight. Thank you for recommending them. You sent a video of Tongue in Discord. Good to know. I will check that after stream. Disney as a company is coming up on 100 years? No way. That's insane. Also, sorry for continuously yawning. I don't know why. I just got super tired all of a sudden. Locked, right? Yeah, okay, so we are gonna need to power this, right?
Needs juice.
So I need to find another generator or figure out how to throw that over here. Actually, I think I just need to throw that over here, but I'm gonna double check by going over here real fast. Real quick. Alright, yeah. We're gonna throw that over the fence. Okay. Comfy vibes. That's my goal, man. That's my goal, is to have comfy vibes. Alright, we are going to throw this over. Just gonna do a little yeet. I hear they're celebrating by bringing up the Charleston and Flappers? Wait, are you serious? Press L2 to aim and R2 to throw the cord. Bam. Absolutely yeeted. Where did it get yeeted to? Carry. I might have thrown it on the wrong side. I threw it on the wrong side. Alright, throw back. Absolutely yeeted, part 2. Give me the cord. You put a pic over it at the beginning in case you didn't actually want to see your tongue. I don't care, I can see your tongue. I have amazing vibes, heck. Y'all are too nice. Oh, wait, can I walk through? Okay. I was like, wait, I just gotta like clothesline myself here. Oh, man. They really should be. You don't think they would mesh with their family-friendly image? Wait, were you just joking about the flappers? Hold on. I actually wanted to see flappers, though. That'd be amazing. Ah, heck. I forgot to keep open my chat on my phone. Now just like refresh. Remember the VHS old Mickey cartoons? Oh, like the super old ones were like black and white? I never saw them on VHS, but I watched them online. They were pretty good. Some of them are a little racist, but they're pretty good. Bruh. Okay, I was gonna say, if that doesn't make it, I'm gonna be so upset. Can't believe it's almost a year since you know me? Wait, today's your 1 year at demo? No way. No way, dude. Wait, what did that? Oh, over here. Dude, demo? I can't remember if you were here when I said this, but demo was literally my very first viewer on Twitch. Like, literally first viewer. Right. Hey, let's go. I wonder if there's anything like special up here. Oh no, it's just opening this. I wonder, I probably should wait to go in here until after I press the button, maybe? Oops. Button press. They actually might be great for advertising, right? Right? Oh shit, there's a password. How do I look at stuff? Wait, how do I actually look at stuff? Oh no. 21st, you made this very account on the 20th. Wait, you made that account on the 20th and you immediately found Demo? That's insane. I feel like you overstayed your welcome in the community. Wait, what? Bro, what do you mean you've overstayed your welcome? You're always welcome here. Exactly what Josh just said. You're always welcome here. Never feel like you're not. Okay. 3 units taken to the guys. Cleans. Okay. Wait, checkpoint gate codes. Aha! Well, where are we at? I feel like it said it on the button. Main gate. Got it. I'm smart, folks. Alright, main gate. 0512. 0512. 0512. 05 0 5 1 2.
Yes.
Let's go. Get to wake up early tomorrow? No problem. Oh.
Shit. Hey, come on. Let's get out of here. That crash was pretty loud.
Heck, that's gonna get a lot of people to us. Hold on. That's all I want to press. Okay, anyways, yes, thank you so much for popping in, Aki. It was great to see you, and I'm definitely gonna check out all of your like Instagram and your stream and stuff. Yes. Thank you so much for stopping by. It's great meeting you. Have a great night. Get lots of rest. We'll see you hopefully again another time. Hopefully I'll be streaming tomorrow with some Forewarned with some friends. You found Demo your first actual day on Twitch? That's amazing. That's crazy. That's actually crazy. You found him that fast. Love it. Okay. What did you say? You gonna do some lurking? I just want to come and say hi. Thank you for the lurks, Josh. I appreciate you. I think we need to go in here and go up this. Is your brain hating you of all your previous friend groups? Yeah, I understand that. The fact that you've been here 3 times, that is scary. I think that's just a testament to the fact that we all like you being here, Lussie. I think that's the fact. I think that's the truth. Let's see. They're just poopy Mickey bait, if you will. Oh my god. Feed all the bad people to the Mickey. We go out here? Can I climb over barbed wire? I am confusion. Where are we meant to take you? Wait, over there? Line here. Nope. I am big confusion. What about over here? Did I miss something? Nope. What? Do I just need to get on the horse and she'll figure it out? Maybe. Oh, I think I just gotta jump it.
I found a note back there. Had some codes on it. It says there's a WLF safe house at some place called Saravina Base.
There's something shiny over here?
So we find
I
it?
did not.
Hopefully we find our first WLF.
What's a
Get to the top.
WLF?
Go from there.
Let's do it.
It's just broken. Oh god, that scared me. Heckin' birds, man. The birds work for the bourgeoisie. Yes, all the hearts back. All the hearts back. Woo.
Oh shit, look.
What are we looking at?
Saravina Hotel.
Oh,
That's gotta be it.
alright.
Okay.
Fuck Fedra.
Let's find a way
What's
past
Fedra?
this, fuck
Federal
Fedra gate?
Disaster Response
creative.
Agency.
Gets right to the point. Let's
Hmm.
get closer and scope it out.
So they don't like the government assistance. Got it. Got it. Got it. Book Fedra.
Back in Boston, they catch you tagging a wall like this, beat the shit out of you. Or worse.
Oh man,
These sound like fun.
that's terrible. But can I run? Forget if I can run. Ah, I think that's how I run. Is there anything over here that's useful? Potentially? It's a paper. A paper! What's in the paper? Federal Disaster Response Agency, Seattle Quarantine Census? QZ Census? Ooh. So they haven't admitted anybody since October, but they've kicked a lot of people out. And denied, like, everybody. To ease the burden of the food stock, set up your sweeps for criminals and expel all class 2 crimes now qualify as expulsion. Running out of time.
Idiots.
I
Turning
kinda
everyone against you.
think that nobody's gonna be alive, but that's just me. Either that or we're just gonna see a shit ton of zombies. Is where we came from? No. That's another area for me to go into. Got it. So my guess is we're gonna go up to this gate, not be able to get through it, and then need to jump that little area over there.
Do you know the code?
That note I found has a bunch of them.
Alright, alright.
But
You
we
skate
need to get
too?
power to the gate first.
Is that not power? Okay. Noted. Give me the horse. Give me the horse. Fuck. Okay, can't get the horse. Where's this wire going? Alright.
Okay, here we go.
Gas?
It's out of gas.
Alright.
Damn it. Well, what do we do now?
Oh,
Gotta go
shit.
buy some gas.
The note.
What?
The note mentioned that there's gas in the courthouse garage and the dome.
Alright. Courthouse garage and the dome. So what's the plan for finding these places?
We ride around and see what we see.
You think Tommy
Sounds
came
like a
through here?
plan.
Bet he did.
Oh, right. We're trying to find Tommy. Dude, I don't remember, like, most of what's happening in this game, to be honest.
So, where are we?
Hold to access map.
Pretty sure we're here.
Ah, nice. I'll mark it up as we go.
Alright. So we're supposed to go to the dome, which looks like it's in front of us, or is that a plaza? Well, let's figure it
What
out.
the hell happened out here?
I'm guessing the military bombed the shit out of this place.
Why would they do that?
Oh my god, the birds!
The city that were lost to the infected. Or to rebels.
The
That seems like
birds!
overkill.
Well, usually worked.
On the infected or the rebels?
Ration
Both.
distribution center.
Ration distribution center.
In Boston, we'd line up for blocks. And the food sucked.
I go crazy.
As some people did.
Wait, what if I flip it over? What's over there? No arrow over here, so I'm not sure where we are in relation to all of this. But either way, I don't see anything that says like the dome or anything. Let's just talk about the stadium. Oops, wrong button. Heck, looks like a dome. It does look like a dome, right? Has a dome on it. Oh, there's this gate over here. Let's, oh. Location added, question mark. Okay. Well, let's check. Oh, is there say fuel distribution?
Here we go.
Fedra secured the shit out of this place.
Boston always had food shortages. Hungry people get desperate.
It's over here. Give it a try. I'm giving it a try. It's padlocked. Looks like we're going. Oh!
Can you get through?
Alright, I got you.
Yeah, that's not bad news at all.
Stay low.
Buddy, are you okay? Real quick, does anybody remember what the button is to, like, sneak kill somebody? Because I don't. Huh? There it is, got it. Got it, got it, got it. Oh, that's violent. That's a violent death. Oh my. Pretty sure Boston
Nice and
pulled through the
quiet.
disaster in one piece. They might have. I don't remember. Have you played this game before, Soup? Sorry if I've asked you that before. I really don't remember anything about this game or the people who have been watching it. It's been so long ago. They were actually infected, they were just overcome with grief. Ah! I don't know about that one, Chief. Oh, that's a clicker. Oh, that's a clicker. I should deal with them last. They blind, anyways. So, plan, come over here, kill this one. Our friend might go over there and kill that one. And then we take care of the clickers. Crash is taking random guesses. You're not really sure if you've ever heard of it. Wait! You don't think you've ever heard of Last of Us 2? Or Last of Us in general? Dude, it's such a good series. I almost got caught there. Oh my gosh. Ah. Okay, the other one's still over there. Holy. You think you have? Okay, good, good, good. It's won so many awards. So many awards. Oh man. Also, Troy Baker, which is one of the oh my god. Troy Baker, which is one of the best one of the best VAs. They played a main role in the first game. And played a role in this game too, but yeah. Such an amazing person and VA. Oh my gosh. Stealth is not my forte. I struggled with it a lot in the first game. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I struggled with stealth a lot in the first game. It's going a little bit better in this game.
Around, they would have
But yeah.
cleared this place out, right?
Maybe they didn't make it to this spot.
Maybe. Let's find that gas.
It's a bit like Left 4 Dead. I can see that, but it's definitely not. I mean, they're similar in the fact that they have zombies that you kill, but it's definitely not Left 4 Dead. This is a story-based game, and Left 4 Dead is a multiplayer, like level-based game, which, yeah, yeah, you get it, you get it, you get it.
Hey, Ellie.
Hey, what?
This place is a synagogue.
Oh,
How can you tell?
One, there are menorah decorations on the wall. It's a Jewish thing. And two, I didn't burst into flames just now, so
Burst into flames?
it's just a dumb joke.
Oh, unlike your other ones.
You shut it.
get wrecked, Ellie.
This place brings back a lot of memories. My sister used to drag me to a synagogue all the time.
You never struck me as much of a believer.
Nah, but I like coming from
Dina,
long
that's her
survivors.
name.
You mean after Outbreak Day?
That.
Outbreak Day?
Inquisition,
What's
and the
Outbreak Day?
Holocaust. My family always made it out alive. Barely.
Did they make an entire day to like celebrate the outbreak? I'm so confused. Yeah. Oh, Soup. Have you actually played Left 4 Dead?
Found the gas. Just
If
need to get
so,
back there.
and if you haven't looked into Back 4 Blood yet, highly suggest.
Latch
They're
is on the
very
other side.
similar. Oh, I want to take the stuffy. That's not a stuffy, that's a bottle. Never mind. But it'll take your stuffy for a second. Can I go through here? Can I not squish? Hello? Nope, that's not what I meant. Whoa. Whoa. Totally can fit through there, but I don't think that's what I'm meant to do. You have played Left 4 Dead? Have you played Back 4 Blood? Highly suggested if you like Left 4 Dead. I want to stream it at some point. Okay, all these doors are closed for a reason, probably. Oh, this is dark. Oh, this is dark. Oh. What is that sound?
Okay.
That was scary. Why was that so scary? Snoopy! What the heck?
A brand new friend to share emotes.
Snoopy!
HIII Santasia. Laughing face,
Sorry, that's
12
so
months.
loud.
Let's go.
12 whole months. Holy heck. Thank you so much, Snoopy. Thank you for the support today and for an entire year. Holy heck. How have you been, Snoop? How you been? I did indeed celebrate Outbreak Day. There were fireworks, barbecue, carnival rides, and the whole 9 yards. Ah! Hacking into during an outbreak isn't a good idea. Now you're creeping through a synagogue. Ah! Ah! Yeah, I can see that. I can see that happening. You know, this is a very good game to play for the current state of things, I think. Oh, man. Too soon? Oh! Oh, that's what I meant to do. I got it. I got it. No, I don't need a hint. Dina, please. Okay. Climb it, climb it, climb it, climb it. Whoa. Alright. Dina, how did you get over there? Dina. Please.
Here we go. God damn it.
It's empty.
Language. House of worship.
It's empty.
Oh
That
no.
sucks. Now what?
We'll try our luck at the courthouse garage.
Gotcha. Ah,
Nana
Nana.
here, with something for you to think about. Someone, somewhere, will always remember you. All because you were nice to them when nobody else was.
Aw.
Even if it was just a moment, or a kind gesture in a public situation. We all have those unknown faces that we remember for these things. So always remember that you are one of those faces to others' heart.
Sometimes.
Really?
Nana, that's so
I
sweet.
said one when we left Jackson.
Holy heck.
I
Also,
said
I'm
one at
sorry
Joel's
the
grave.
face I just made.
Sometimes I
Um,
just say little ones to
she was
myself.
beside me inside of the gate, and then outside of the gate, and then
think it
beside me
calms
again
me.
opening the gate.
Helps me put things in
And
perspective.
Nana, heckin' love you.
So,
How you
A way to
been?
deal with grief.
How you been,
A
Nana?
way to show respect. It's what
Snoopy,
I know.
I'm glad to hear you're doing well too. I'm doing alright. We worked through some issues, some tech issues, and now we're good. New phone? Who dis? Wait, you actually got a new phone? You actually have a new phone? That's awesome. That's awesome. What'd you get? No Wi-Fi? Alright, Nana. Have fun. Have a good night. I'm assuming you're at work, so try to have fun. if you can. Thank you for stopping by, Nana. I appreciate you. Never? What do you mean never? Never to what? I don't remember what I literally just said 2 seconds ago. Help. 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 What do I do? Oh wait, there's doors over here? Never who dis? Wait, what? Never new phone, never who dis? I'm so confused! Alex! Alex, what is happening? Oh man. How do I get up there? Wait, oh, I can take the cart! Cart. Come here, cart. Thank you for the alert though, Alex. I appreciate you. Dina, I'm gonna run you over. Ma'am, please get out the way. Get out the way. Let's go.
This way.
Let's go. Spider monkey. What's his note? An active WLF hideout on Spring and 5th. How does it queue any suspects? Oh, heck. Oh, no. Oh, did she just write that on there?
What do you think of this?
Oh, the hideout up there. Alright. I think of what? Where are you? Oh. Alright, guess we're gonna do some real spider monkey shit. I don't really want to grab that yet. Hold on. 1 second, Dina. 1 second. I want to do some exploring. Dude, I heard a car outside in real life and it scared me. Oh. You're Bill and you're wondering if you heard the
What's
new
this?
government
Oh,
program
this is the Torah.
to reduce
The
your
what?
student loans.
It's
Oh my
scripture.
god.
It's like a Jewish Bible.
Hmm.
My sister would have flipped for this. The one we used in New Mexico was half burned.
Aw, that's sad.
All right. Well, at least they didn't just chuck everything.
But you're not gonna take it with you? Preserve it? Man, I would've. That's something special. She's a ghost explains her jumping around and facing through solid walls. Right?
Bet I can get to the other balcony with this.
Oh no. We're gonna go Tarzan on this. Oh, I actually have to control this?
Careful.
Ah!
It's okay. It's holding.
Oh my gosh. This is terrifying. How do I jump? Okay, got it. Oh! Just barely made the.
Come on, Dina. Right.
Come on, Dina. You can do it. Look at her go. You got this, Dina. Hell yeah. Solid. A++. Every time I open a door, I'm just like, is this where I die? Scary. Pills? Need pills.
5774. Are we in the future?
No, doofus, that's a Hebrew calendar.
Oh.
For the new year, my sister used to give me an apple dipped in honey. Ugh, now I'm craving it.
Apple dipped in honey. Sounds good. "70 years ago, grandfather fled Germany with his family and World War II began. Heavy burning shoulders, hoping the late night talks was covered. What? If I can leave you? Bruh. Oh, gotta flip it. For every turn away from a better world, there is often a stronger correction towards it. Do not lose hope for the future. It takes but one candle to dispel the darkness." That was a good saying. That was a good saying.
I hope you got where you were going.
Journal entry added. So... Oh! Wait, are we up here? No, we're not up here. We need to be up there. How do I get up there? Can I get onto that balcony somehow? There's some like really echoey sounds. It's creeping me out. Also, found the exit. Heck yeah. Alright. So. Oh, barring we don't get
Okay,
jumped by
Cross the
any.
dome off the list.
Oh,
Let's go find
that was a
Porter.
dome. Nice. Barring not
Might be
getting
worth
jumped from
grabbing
any
some supplies
zombies.
before we press on.
Should be good to go. I wanna see what's up here. I feel like they don't just add these random things. They're putting good stuff up here like this.
Rad.
Stun bomb, stun multiple enemies, and finish them off with strike attacks. That doesn't sound like good things are ahead. Not at all. Oh no! Guys, we're gonna get swamped by zombies. Oh no.
Score.
Give me that ammo. Equip one gun per holster. Additional guns are stored in your backpack. Wait, XOX. Wait, while pressing square, press down and go to the revolver. Oh! Alright! Nice. Whoa! I didn't mean to just like yeet myself off of a ledge, but that's fine. What's up here? I just want to explore all the things. I don't think it's a good idea to explore all the things. I kind of want to explore all the things.
It's peaceful out here at least.
Wait, there's a
It's weird being in a QZ
there's a
and not hearing
thingy?
trucks. Or gunfire and explosions.
oh yeah.
My sister always avoided QZs.
What? Oh,
That's
quarantine
probably
zones,
why.
right?
She just got more and more paranoid. She'd sometimes wake up
Explore all
screaming
the
in middle of the night.
things.
That's rough.
We always had a backpack so we could bail if something happened. Never stayed in one place
Do
for
I
more than a few weeks.
want to get off the
It
horse?
sucked.
It's nice to have a
Kind
place
of
we
want
call
to
home, right?
explore this little building
Yeah.
up here.
When I first got to Jackson, I was so overwhelmed by all the people.
What is this?
I was overwhelmed by all the food. I remember my first week just gorging myself. Stuffing food in all my pockets for later like it was gonna run out.
I saw that. You did not.
Hmm.
I did. I remember thinking, who is this string bean girl stealing all the jerky?
Didn't steal that much jerky.
Lol.
Jotting this down.
She stole all the jerky. Don't let her fool you. Map location. Yes, a question mark. Very helpful. Alright. Gotta sneak off the dreamland? No problem. Hope you have a good dreams and a good sleep. Have a good night, Soup. We'll see you around. Upgrade? Hmm. Hmm. Hey, what can I upgrade for this? Fire rate. Ooh, recoil and stability. Ooh. Put all rounds at once instead of individually. Okay, yeah, that's necessary. That's necessary. Hell yeah. That's nice. That's nifty. That's heckin' nifty.
Looks like that's everything over here.
Ah, the workbench. The workbench. Okay, okay. First, what's this? Ignore the dead body. What's this? Ah!
Haven't seen one of these in a while.
Why did it just move? Did you see it move? Did you see it move? Oh my god. Why did it move? I don't know what that is, but the body moved. That looks not comfy, my dude.
What have you got there?
Heard another rumor that Westlake
Ah,
Bank
hey.
has Never
What is
been
it?
searched. If that's
Is there
true, we
supplies
cover
at some
more
bank?
pre-outbreak
Might be worth
supplies.
checking out.
Alright, alright, we're gonna go check some stuff out. Get some more weapons and stuff. So truly, this is just like a looting mission. Loot all the things. What is this? Another day in paradise. Wait,
Damn. That's pretty good.
right? Who drew this? Oh, sorry. That is so good. Wait, did you just draw something? Ma'am, I would like to see your journal. Aww. Shimmer, you move too much. Aww, poor horse. Oh man. Alright. Alright. Let's go. Ah, she has an eyebrow slit. My eyebrow slit's pretty much gone. It's like pretty much grown back in. Alright, are we meant to be going somewhere with this? I feel like we are. What a coincidence, you were trying to contact you about your car's extended warranty? Oh, Uno
This
reverse.
must be the music shop.
Man, imagine this place when everything was intact.
This would have been so
They
awesome.
got a bunch of records here. The sleek
I
habit.
know, I recognize.
The sick habit.
Oh,
Close
oh,
enough.
oh. Ooh. Pretty music time? Pretty music time! Do I get to play the guitar this time as Ellie? Oh! Oh! Yes, please tune that shit. Oh, only one string was out of tune. Wait, how do I play it? Oh, the lines are meant to be where I'm supposed to be strumming. Oh, oops. Twitch, don't DMCA me.
What was that?
Aww.
Nothing.
Cuteness, that's what that
Nothing
was.
sure sounds nice.
Remember that night by the bonfire?
Yeah.
Oh, we're doing the big rumble this time.
Talking away.
Yes!
I don't know what I'm to say. I'll say it anyway.
I love this song.
Today's another day to find you shying away.
So good.
Coming for your love, okay. Take on me.
Take on me.
Take me on.
Take on me.
I'll be gone in a day or
Choo.
Needless to say,
This is so cute.
odds and ends, but I'll be stumbling away, slowly learning that life is okay. Say after me, it's no better to be safe than sorry. Take on me. Take me on.
So cute, oh my gosh.
I'll be gone in a day or two.
Her voice is so good too.
Day or two. You should have kissed me then. I wanted to.
Aww. Aww.
We should keep moving.
How adorbs. Oh! That was awkward. Break the glass. Alright, alright. Jump. No! Okay. Climb. Climb. Nice. Can I play the drums? Nope, no play drums apparently. Anything over here? Something shiny. I don't need that though, I don't think. I think I'm good. Finals. Oh, I thought it was a final season sale. Fall season sale. Okay. What's over here? Man. This would have been an awesome place, like back in its prime. I wonder how long it's been since this store has actually been open. Like, I kind of just wonder the timeline for everything in this game. We need to, like, see when we put together. I'm sure somebody's done it. Also, I like that they're making us stock up on stuff. You know, that really means something terrible is gonna happen soon. We're stocking up on stuff. We got a big, huge cluster stun grenade. And it doesn't bode well for us, you know? Does not bode well in the slightest. What is that? Oh, the pedal. Alright, let's go. What's out here? No more
I don't think there's
zones.
anything else in here.
No, probably not, but where's our horse? Oh! God damn it. You scared me, horse. You scared me. How did you just show up here? Oh wait, we were right there, that's why. There's deer over there! Y'all see those deer? Come on,
Ellie.
Dina.
I think Shimmer's getting sick.
What?
How can you tell?
She sounds a little hoarse.
Oh my god.
Boy.
Oh
on, that was a
my
good one.
god. That's the worst pun I've ever heard. Holy. Getting a little hoarse. It's worse than the puns you all say.
Where you going?
There's something back here.
Why is there music? I don't like that there's music. Oh, I found Westgate 2. Go on whatever that is. What is this? Safe. Got it. Alright. Use gate code. Alright. Easy. Was it Westgate 2? Right? West. Yeah. West 2. Notes. Wait, street drawing. Oh, yeah. That's what that is. There we go. West 2 0451 0451 0451 0451. Gotta do it. 04. Oh, fuck. Oh, 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 oh. There. That is not how you do a dialogue, but this is fine. There's a card! We got a trading card. Whoa! That looks so cool. Low. I like it. I like it lots. Alright, alright, alright. Where to next? I keep wanting to call this horse Roach. I know it's not Roach, but I keep wanting to call him Roach.
Hey, I think I found
what?
the courthouse.
How
Courthouse.
can you tell?
No
See
way.
that sign up there? On the building that says courthouse?
Nah, that doesn't say courthouse.
Oh, wow. Nice work, detective.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't say courthouse at all. Nope. What is that noise I keep hearing? Weird noise. Weird. Oh, that doesn't go into the building. Oops. That's just side stairs. The side access, if you will. Oh, it's the flag! That's what I keep hearing. Yo, that's actually a little terrifying, not gonna lie. Of course the front door isn't open.
Let's keep looking.
I don't know why it would be.
Hear that?
I hear it.
I
Infected.
hear it.
It's coming from the courthouse. This is gonna suck, isn't it?
Oh,
At least we're ready
shit.
for him.
Are we?
Help me out here.
Help me out with
Maybe we
what?
can get in that way.
Oops. Wait, what way? What's over here? Why do I feel like I'm hearing clicking noises? It doesn't sound like clickers. Oh god. I am not ready for this. Okay, where are the recipes at? Ah. Alright. I need whatever that is. Get a Molotov going though. Okay, so how do I switch to that? Ooh, I did not mean to do that. Okay. Yo. I don't remember how to switch what I'm using. Oh, like that. Okay, okay. And then if I go down here. Got it! I'm gonna forget this in like 5 seconds. Let's go. Oh shit. Yeah, the window closing on its own doesn't really sound very quiet, honestly. Alright, where? The dead body right there. Oh god, where's this clicker going? Oh no. I'm scared. I don't like stealth missions, folks. I always end up not doing them properly. What's in here? Wait, okay, hold on. I can do that. One over there. Yeah, that's terrifying. I might just get rid of this one right here first. Seems like a good idea. Yeah, let's get rid of you. You're scaring me. Okay, thanks, bye. Another 2, 3 in there? And one over there? That guy. Did he go any further than the doorway? Yes, he does. Oh, or is that girl? They. Alright, looks like the other ones are not in this room. Fuck, fuck, fuck. Oh, that was close. That's close. That was heckin' real close. Oh god. There's one right there. Oh man. Oh, I hate clickers! Guys. Why? Why? Clickers, man. Oh, there's an actual person over there. Okay, so priority is now actual person. Clicker, 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 run, clicker, run, clicker, run! Oh, buddy, that was close. Almost got by a clicker. Alright, alright, corpse of a clicker? Wait, zombies can die of, like, on their own? I guess that makes sense. Never thought about that though, like what a zombie corpse would look like after like dying on their own. There's like one more zombie on this floor. What is your path? Just go back and forth. Right there. Oh. That was not stealthy at all. I don't know how that was considered a stealth kill. Oh my gosh. I'm assuming it's because I'm on the easiest mode.
Is that it?
That's it on this floor. There's more upstairs.
Let's find
I'm
that gas.
assuming.
Yeah. I wonder what it was like to serve on a jury. Bet it was fun. Sit down, look at evidence, try to tell if somebody's lying.
Just give me 5 minutes of my knife. could tell you if they were lying or not.
Oh my
wow,
gosh,
okay.
Ellie. So feisty. Ellie's a little feisty one. Alright. Should we go
Hey,
up or
wanna
down,
help?
guys?
Coming.
Well, we might actually only be able to go down. I don't know, we'll see. Oh yeah, looks like we can only go
You
downstairs.
ever been to a courthouse?
Well,
before?
actually no, there's an up right here.
Nope.
You're
What do you guys
telling me
think?
you
Up or
never got in
down?
trouble back
Dia's
in
going
Boston?
down. I kind of want to
Oh,
defy
I
that
got
and
in
go up.
trouble, but never landed in a courthouse.
Oh, never mind. You can't go up. Rip, it's locked. I cry. Alright, what's over here? I don't need those. Any more zombs? Don't see any glowy glowies for zombs.
Some
Okay,
serious
use
shit went down
that.
here.
Yeah, no joke, man. Looks nutty.
Parking garage.
Well, the gas is in there, right?
Oh,
Probably.
That's what the note said.
Well, let's get down there.
Basement 1. How do you suppose we get down there, Dina? Are there any more stairs? Oh, I don't like that noise. What was that? Oh man. We're dead folks. The WLF is winning. The city's gonna fall any day now, and unless you quit Fedra, I can't keep you safe. Oh man. Roosting coffee. Well, I can tell you, they're not gonna be showing
Brought it
up,
on yourself, I
Sandra.
guess.
Dude, all these little noises are scaring me. The ambiance. Excuse me, Dina. That's boarded shut, boarded shut, boarded shut. Alright, looks like we're hopping down an elevator. Can I jump down this? Is this going to kill me? Guess we'll find out. Whee! Yep, it killed me. Take a hostage, then hold L2 to aim, and then R2 to shoot. You can take hostages? What? Using explosive from stealth will not reveal your position, but it will put enemies on alert. Fair enough. Why are all these on people? I don't like that. Does that mean we're gonna have to fight people? Where am I? Oh. Never mind. I see. That was the checkpoint. Do I need to redo all? I do need to redo all of this. Okay. I can't remember what we did. I don't think I found anything. Yeah, no, I never found anything. Alright. So... this was a thing.
Parking garage.
Well, the gas is in there, right?
Well, that's what the note said.
Well, let's get down there.
How do we get down there? Because I can't just jump. Can I jump onto the wire? Oh. Oh, yeah. I can jump onto the wire. I'm dumb.
Careful.
You be careful. It's not like I died from this last time. Not at all. Oh! Well, I missed where I wanted to be, but this is fine. Do I hear anything? I do not hear anything. Doesn't mean there's not any zombies down here. I don't hear them. Ugh! Yeah, that's noisy. Okay, I found them! Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. How do I shoot? Wait, hold on. No. I'm trying to stab them. There we go. L1 badge? Oh, okay. I may or may not be a lot hurt right now. Oh, I can't aim. Oh, this is bad. Oh, this is bad. Oh. Got him. Okay. Are you not dead? So I just used all of my ammo on that? Nice, nice.
I think that's all of them.
Alright, so...
Yes.
How did I... This. I do want to have full health kits, but I also would like to switch to that and use it. Healing myself, let's go. Healing myself all the way because I'm a dummy who forgot how to shoot. Alright. Hopefully, I can find some stuff in here
Not
to
climbing back up over here.
make things like ammo. That would be great. Can we make some ammo? Ammo? Also, I want to know why this is full of water. It's kind of crazy. Oh, is this ammo? Please say this is ammo. Oh, hell yeah. Okay. There's a brick. Power. A waste bin. Ah, there's the gas. That clipping scared the shit out of me. Oh my god. Game borks are scurry. Ah, give me the gas.
And
Wait. We got gasoline.
Hell yeah.
changing.
Don't you jinx us.
We got the gas, folks.
The fuck Vedragate is calling to us.
Well, there's like 3 other things to look at, though.
Oh.
Yeah, getting out is a good question, isn't it? There is a broken wall right there. Is it possible to get up on it? Can't climb on that. These cars look very strategically placed. if there's a way to like get on top of one of them and climb up. I don't know. Oh, nice. Thing up there. Ah! This is a big I actually don't know. You guys have any suggestions? Oh, wait, there's a hint. Over there. What about over there? Oh my god.
Dina,
I didn't even see this. What the heck? The heck?
come on.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
good that you didn't just let it slam down.
Thanks.
Okay, gate.
Could be a while before we run into Abby and her friends. It might be worth grabbing some supplies before we press on.
Yeah, yeah, it would. Looks like we're right next to the food place. Roost and Cough. Oh, this is where everyone was meant to be meeting. All these
Recognize anyone?
wanted posters.
They're too old. The group that came to Jackson would have been kids.
Oh man. What's in here? Ooh, alright. Nice. So now we need to find a way to get into this building. I just like yoink. Alright, cool. What's this? A new gun? Or ammo for a gun? Not even just ammo. Our old LW or WLF safe houses for supplies. Alright.
Wasn't Joel all about coffee?
Kidding me? He'd trade half his stuff for a bag of beans.
I never got it. Tastes like burnt shit.
Yes, yes it does.
Thank you. Acquired
Ooh, a trading
taste
card.
my ass. Whoa.
Big blue trading card. Oh, that's so cute. I love it. I like the trading cards in this game. Whoa. Dina, was that you making a clicky click sound? Oh my god!
Welcome,
Alex!
Raiders,
What the heck?
I hope you enjoy your
Alex!
stay. We have lots of laughs and fun here, and
The
no,
heck?
you don't have to pay.
The heck? Alex! Welcome in and thank you for the raid. Let me give you a shout out because you probably won't do it yourself. How was your stream? Hi, girlfriend. Hi, Monster Pixels. How are we doing tonight? Hi, Shifter. Yes, shout out. How's Apex? How was Apex Legends? Did you win? Were you winning, son? Hello. Holy fuck!
inside these places?
I don't know, but I hate that shit.
So, I wasn't expecting anybody to come in here or to be in there. That's why I continued walking through the game. I'm so sorry. Holy, oh my god. You got teabagged by sweats and no wins? That's alright. Did you have fun? You had fun. That's a win in my book. Who all play with you? Was it the 3 of you? Oh god. Oh god, that's a lot of blood. Y'all should get that checked out by a doctor. You got stomped by sweats and smurfs, you know, the patented Apex experience, TM. Gilbert and Pixels. Nice. I bet that was still fun though. Barkos? Somebody had a pupper named Barkos? Oh, that's so cute. Unless it was not for a dog. Maybe it's a location. But thank you again for the raid, Addict. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Hope you at least still had fun with the patented experience that you had. I want it. I want it. Damn it. I can't have a fire extinguisher. Cry. Porting the viewers to better streamers did. Not a better streamer, just a different streamer. Not a better one, just a different one. Heck. Alright. I hate that little clicking noise that she keeps doing.
Found a key.
Stop that.
Barcodes on it.
Onward, Shimmer.
So, yeah, we're gonna go over to that building real fast.
How you doing back there?
Oh,
Getting homesick?
oh, right there.
A little bit.
Heck,
You?
heck. Alright.
Same. Just having a roof over my head.
Thank you for sharing them out again. I
I've
appreciate
always
it.
dreamed of fixing up a farm just outside of
All the
Jackson.
shout outs.
Why wouldn't you stay in town?
All the shout
I don't
outs.
know. I like the idea of real space.
Sounds lonely.
Only if you're doing it alone.
Okay. So are we gonna, like, raise sheep and milk cows?
Hell yeah, we
you
are.
making fun of me?
No. It actually sounds kinda nice.
Oh my god, are we having shout out wars with Alex now?
Really?
Banned Cactus K Life. You are never allowed to be banned. Excuse you. You're never allowed to be banned. Exactly. Oh, dude, Alex, you missed a troll earlier. We had a troll come in and spam peepees. It was fun. Fun times. I don't think chat actually saw it though, because I have a timer on chat.
Hey, isn't that the key you found?
Yeah, it is a key I found. Thanks. Is it in the alleyway? Oh, it's a dog's pet store. That's so cute. And the boyo has been doing it for a long time? More than a month if the tiny boyo didn't get it? Yeah. Yeah, their account was like a month old. It was created in September? Yeah. I believe, if I remember correctly. Actually, I think it was created a different year. I don't think it was even created this year if I remember correctly.
I got it.
Let's
Do
see
I
what we got in
remember?
here.
I don't. Yeah, okay. Their account was a couple years old then. I'm surprised that their account's
What the
still
hell is this
there.
place? Some kind of WLF something.
WLF something. The 21st night of September. Oh my god. They think we're sheep. Bare your fangs!
What is that?
WLF propaganda. Reminds me
Bruh.
of the Fireflies in Boston.
Oh my
In
gosh.
Mexico, we had these guys called
Yeah.
the Ravens. Protectors of the Constitution, they called themselves.
What was their deal?
Ex-Fedra types who thought Fedra had too many rules. They
Hmm.
ran protection rackets. They took multiple wives. Great dudes.
Ugh, yikes.
Yeah.
Ooh, what's this? Just another holster? I can have another gun out? Is that what we're doing now? Bruh. Nah, I think let's keep this one out. Be fine. Be fine.
Goonie and Ghost would have loved this.
At least we had Baps on stream. I know, right?
Who?
Eskimo Cowboy on repeat? Oh, wait, is that
They
the
were
funny
these feral
band?
Cats I had before I came to
I always forget the
Jackson.
name.
They didn't seem to want to leave with us, so I miss those scratchy little shits sometimes. You have any
Oof.
pets?
Nah, it was never really my thing.
Oh, maybe when we're done with all this, we can get a nice little creature to take care of.
Aww,
Alright, deal.
I would love one.
What's
Or a
this?
cat.
These are plans to hit a Fedra convoy.
It's Lee Band.
This place
Can't
must
stop
be
playing their
old.
songs. Oh my god.
Yeah. I don't think
Honestly,
anybody's been here in years.
I thought there was a
We could take a look.
funny thing. Like, what am I saying? Oh, honestly, I thought that the funny part of them was their music video. Like,
I think we got everything here.
their songs are good and funny and stuff, but like the video, top tier. Top tier funny. So my brain just like had a moment where it's like restarted itself and I didn't know what was happening. Also, where's my horse? I left it right here. Horse? Hey Dina, where's our horse? Oh my god, where'd you come from? Ah! Oh my gosh.
nervous
Your
at all?
music video is
About?
chef's kiss.
After everything we found out about the WLF, they seem more organized than I expected.
Doesn't change anything for me. Just means we have to be more careful.
At least they don't know we're coming for them.
Exactly.
Ah, they might know.
We're gonna be okay.
I think they might know.
All right. We should get back to the fuck Fedra gate before we lose the day.
Yeah.
Nah,
See if we can find those WLF at the Saravina.
nah, we're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep exploring. Keep exploring.
Got a caravan up ahead.
We went down here.
Hmm. Oh wait, actually, we can probably get up over there and I see everything. So have any of you guys played any of the Last of Us games? For everyone who came in on Alex's raid? Oh, maybe I can't get up over here. Ah. Hmm. Fascist. Yeah, maybe I can't get up here. Your team old people with Sandy now, you have no choice but to raid here? Oh my god. Oh my god. I don't know how to take that as a compliment or a burn. Help. Help. Okay. How the hell do I get over there? Stop the clicking. I'm going to absolutely murder you. Huh. But you better jump out of the way. Be afraid. Be very afraid. Oh, 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 there was a thingy here. There was a thingy here. Where did the thingy go? Is that the arrow? It might be the Fantasia? I don't know. Who's asking? Oh, you know what? I might be able to get in there over the other side, maybe? Is there another side? Maybe? Maybe? Let's try it. Avo, wait, Avo, Alex. Oh my god, Avo! Heck! Thank you for the resub.
It is the Avo.
7 whole months. Crazy business. Absolutely insanity. Thank you for the resub, Avo. So, both of you, I don't know if you guys know what the Udi is, but Udi sends me an Udi, and if you would like, you can get your own Udi over at the Udi store. I don't make any money off of it. I just like to help pass on savings to you folks. Get yourself an Udi for $30 cheaper if you wanted an Udi. You have 2 of them? Bruh. You got 2 from Jess? Nice. That's amazing. They're so nice, aren't they?
Yeah.
I just put them. Oh my god. Yeah, no, it's not a sponsorship. Unless like your initial little like thing goes well with them, they might give you a sponsorship. But no, to start out with, they just send you in for free, and then they give you a discount code you can use with your friends and your community. You didn't get them for you, you got them for your sister and niece? Well, if you know anybody else that wants an Udi, Avo, now you know where you can get another code from. They are super duper comfy. I'm wearing mine right now. This is my Udi. Let's see. Does this go anywhere? Nah, this probably goes to death. I don't know how to get down to the caravan. That'd be a big mystery to me. Wait, can I jump this? Nope. Hoodie is the name of a library you use at work. You're always like, what? What? I would be a little confused too, honestly. I don't blame you. Man, going through that caravan would have been nice. I have no idea how to get through it though. Alright. Where? Wait, there was another building that was marked. Oh, it's all the way at the end. Okay. Let's go! All the way at the end up here. I think I see it. The bank. Westlake Bank. There better not be any more clickers.
Look at
I'm
the
gonna be a little
sign.
upset. Apache Hoodie. Provides
Think we found
streaming
the bank.
primitives over
Should we go
Hadoop
explore it?
conventional storage? What's Hadoop? I don't know what Hadoop is. I'm so sorry. Ah, sorry for the sneezels. Oh, there's a brick. No. Oh my god, I thought I heard something. Better not be any clickers in here. I'm gonna lose my
This is
mind.
cool. In like a holy shit,
Hmm.
you might get crushed kind of way.
Apache
What?
Hood Hadoop Software
been like this for
Library
years.
is a framework that allows it.
Something collapsed.
Oh,
I think.
that's really cool.
Not a fan.
It's actually really cool. Avo.
Thank you for gifting us up. Thank you for spreading love.
Thank you for gifting a sub to Alan. I appreciate you. You're just like, hey. Hey, what's up? Bro, stop making all the noises.
to my stream.
Thanks for coming to my stream.
I haven't been following Alex.
Oh my God, Alex. Alex, why?
Slowly losing my mind while in the middle of a hype song. I think there's only one actual one in here. Bleh, 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 bleh. Fuck, there's two. Beautiful cactus. Yeah. There's two actual people. And Cindy still to upload your new video. I'm sorry. You know what? Leslie, can you message me and I'll do it today? I'll do it tonight for you. Come here, 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 come here. Come here, 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 come here. Hi, awesome Twitch dude, how are you? I'm just mildly losing my mind with the clickers in here.
You fucking cunt.
Oh shit!
Get out of here, you fucking mongrel.
Oh my god, how are you doing? Welcome to the stream. Hope you enjoy yourself here as I murder zombies. Don't get us killed. You know, I make no promises. Ducky! How are you doing today, Ducky? Fuck. Zombie! You're doing good? You asked to go look because you're going out? It's your first night of freedom! Wait! Is your quarantine over, Ducky? Oh my god, Abba, why? Why? Double vax and seeing friends. That's awesome, Ducky. Have lots of fun. Thank you for the lurk. And thank you for some by and saying hi. I appreciate you. Oh my gosh, girlfriend and Avo. Why? Restrictions are easing, so you're having a barbecue with friends. You're so excited! Man, I'm excited for you! That's so fun! Have a good time, Ducky. You need it. You deserve it. Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh my gosh. 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 LaRousse! Wait, did I say that? Avo, did I actually say it? If I did, that was very unconscious. I don't remember saying it. So
That's
sorry. I'll say
Well,
er.
we found the bank.
We did find the bank.
Body armor. They don't look like soldiers.
Body armor?
Yeah,
On what?
not sure.
What has body armor? LaRousse, how are you doing today? Hope you're having a good evening / night. Holy heckins. Oh, there's the body armor. What's inside your bag? What's in your bag? 602-306.
Body armor guys.
Help me remember that, friends. Holy you know?
Thank you for gifting us sub.
Oh my goodness!
Thank you for spreading love.
Avo! How are we already close to a hype train? That's crazy. Avo, thank you for gifting us sub to Luna. Haha. Loophole. You sleepy? Oh, it's because Alex did the 100 bits for Titanic. Thank you, Alex. Scared me a lot because my volume was up to like 50. But thank you.
You're sleepy, but you had to come hang out with the real gamers for a bit. Larios, thank you for hanging out with us. I appreciate you. No, you don't gotta give me the monies. Heck out of here. 602-306. 602-306. 602-306. 602-306. 602.
Here we go.
Oh no. Wait. 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 Oh, I get it. I get it. 6 0 and then 2 3. Oh my goodness. Why? Why? Who did that? Who actually did that? Who did that? Gilford, thank you for the 100 biddies. Gilford used the 75 bits. Oh my goodness, how dare you? How absolutely dare you? Oh my gosh, thank you for the 175 biddies. Hypo train? Why is there a hypo train? Stop that. Stop that. Stop that hypo train. Thank you for the 100 biddies, Avo. Hey. Hey. Ooh, fancy. Fancy. Hyper.
Thanks, dude.
Hyper 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 hyper.
Holy Alex. Thank you for the 150 bits also. Oh my gosh. Why did it hold that back for the word put? What? Yeah, apparently put is a bad word now. You're playing Rust with your friend. He got a kit drop that gave him his cute little teddy. Aww. Put the teddy down and was admiring him at 5 seconds before you misclicked shot it with a bow and then he blew up and cried. Guaranteed for another week. Oh my gosh. That's amazing. That's actually hilarious. I love it, LaRousse. That's amazing. I'm so sorry for your friend, but at least you get a good laugh out of it. John Awakens, hello. How are you doing? Thank you for stopping by. Hope you enjoy the stream. We're panicking with zombies tonight. It's not Panic at the Disco. It's Panic with the Zombies now.
Run.
Thank you for the 150 biddies, but Jesus. Also, it's been 5 minutes, so fuck off. Maybe a little bit, Guilford. You've been auto-modded for Put and Clippy stream too? Really? That's so weird. You give your teddy to you as a gift, so is your teddy you cried. He's your best friend in the game for a whole 5 seconds. Oh no. Oh no, the poor
Tried robbing a bank
teddy.
on Outbreak Day.
Probably seemed smart at the time.
The poor teddy. Did you name your teddy at least? I have a teddy that I sleep with, and I named it Spot when I was really young. So my teddy's name is Spot because he has spots. I know, really creative, right? Right? Okay, I don't need those. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for the Ace Pride. Holy heck.
To our right.
Why are there more infected in here? Yo. If you don't mind me asking, John, how'd you find us? I'm actually really curious. Rip. Rip that there's more zombies. Where they go? Oh my god! Don't come back here, don't come back here, don't come back here, don't come back here, don't come back here. Please stop moving, please stop moving, please stop moving, please stop moving. Ah!
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
Oh, you came through the tag! That's super awesome! I'm glad that they add all those tags for people to find each other with. That's so nice. Oh, got him! Let's go! Clickers, be gone. Oh my gosh. I try and complete level 1! Heck yeah!
Agreed.
Thank you for the biddies, by the way, for playing the rip. And thank you for the hype train, everybody! I appreciate you. I appreciate you all. This AT is really not fun. I'm really not. I'm really not. Nobody's finding you through the poutine boil tag? Really? There was another tag I saw another day. I don't know.
You can get a farmhouse now.
Okay. What would you get?
I swear, every sound is so extremely loud right now because I have my volume
it's
like
clearly on a
twice as loud as it normally is.
Farmhouse is
Iris,
way
thank you
more
for the 75 biddies though. But yeah, there's another tag, I forget what it was. It was on somebody else's stream though. And I really want to remember what it was. I don't even remember whose stream it was. But I was like, that's such a good idea. I need to go through like the list of tags that they have. See what all is out there, you know? I don't think I've ever actually like
crazy.
read through the entire list.
Oh, I got a shotgun out of it. So,
Alright, do we have any other places?
okay. Let's get back to the fuck Fedra gate.
There's that underpass with the caravan, but I don't know how to get up to the caravan. So I think we're good to go back. You think we have the only location-based tag that is not a country? Wait, what's your tag? Are you saying Canada is not a country, or are you saying that, like, you have, like, a city tag? Oh, Quebec! Nice! Kind of more of a grace, but still accepting being an ace in general. That's so awesome!
Wow,
I like finding more people in the community. And I like that, like, ace in general is being more widely accepted and known in general.
Yeah, I know. Just thought we'd see one.
It's so nice. Used to be like the redhead stepchild per se, for lack of a better term, of the LGBT community. Okay, let's go. You have both Quebec and Canada tag? Nice, dude. I wonder if they should make like a Midwestern and like West Coast, East Coast, Southern tags. That'd be kind of cool. Kathy, don't you remember all this stuff about Quebec wanting to leave Canada? Wait, what? Quebec wanted to leave Canada?
You put in the code.
Wait, really? I didn't know that there was such a thing about Quebec being different. That's so funny.
Sorry, go on. Nothing.
Alright, East 2. Ah, wait, I didn't mean to hit the map. Frick. Map. Papers. There we go. All the way down here to checkpoint gate codes. Oh my gosh, lots of chat. Lots of chat. It seems to be a big umbrella of terms. Yeah, Ace is a big umbrella. Ace is a spectrum. Just like, I feel like your like sexuality and stuff like that in general is a spectrum. It's never really like, I don't know. Labels are great for like getting your point across, but there's such like a wide variety of everything that like one label doesn't necessarily cover everything for one person, you know? But yeah, Ace is definitely a spectrum of a bunch of different people. Including Demi. You didn't know about this? There was court decisions and stuff. Dude, I live not in Canada. And therefore, normally never hear about things outside of the US for some reason. Unless it's like really, really big stuff. Even then, I don't really hear about things inside the US. I really should be better about that. But like, I don't know. Back in the 90s, we even had 2 referendums about separating. What the heck? Are you serious? That's insane. It's like Florida and Texas wanted to split off. Quebec was wild. Are you saying it's not still wild? I feel like if you guys are there, it's a little wild. Do you guys not pay attention to us like we do you? Yeah, not really. 5345. I mean, our news is mainly like US propaganda shit. I'm not gonna lie. I also just immediately forgot what I just said to myself. No, I didn't hold that down. I clicked it once. You're rude. I'm sorry. I also don't like keep up on our own stuff that says anything. 5345. 5345. 5345. 5345. 5345. 5 3 3 4 5.
It worked.
I feel like there's too many isolates to where it's hard to pinpoint what exactly fits. Yeah, I mean, whatever you're comfy with, you know? That's really what it comes down to, is like, whatever makes you feel comfy and validated and accepted. Like, that's what it really comes down to. Whatever is good fit for you. The second referendum even ended really fucking close. 51 to 49? Are you serious? It was that close for Quebec trying to stay in Canada? Jesus. Oh my gosh. A lot of Trump did something stupid and then oop Biden, but hear nothing about Trudeau? Unless he's done something stupid as heck or amazing. Who is that? Is that your guys' person? But yeah, pretty much everything here is just like, oh, Trump did this, and oh, Biden did this, and there's like going after each other's throats. I don't understand it. Lamp! Hi Lamp, how you been doing? I see super chill. I try to be super chill. Sometimes I'm not, but most of the time I just try to be like a place for people to come and hang out and have fun, you know? Try to, okay, yeah, see, I don't know this stuff, man. I am literally the worst person to ask about geography and like world affairs, man. You're busy. What's your busy? I saw that you were having issues with somebody over like one of your like eBay or Etsy thingies for your business. Hope that got resolved. So go to your president. Yeah, I know what Prime Minister is. After an emotional and somewhat controversial debate, the no side achieved victory by a narrow majority of 50.58%. Oh my god. We're gonna pick up about 15 orders. Holy. All you hear about him is that he's hot. Oh my god. You're kinda right though. I'll have to look him up after this. Customers suck, dude. I hope it got better for you at least. I hope it got better for you. Yeah, fuck them both, right? I agree. Taking into consideration that he's 50, he's doing well, you think? Dude, buys 4 hours, 57 minutes every time as 1. It didn't, you move on. Well, I'm glad you're at least moving on from it. Lesson learned, people are dicks. That's pretty much it. You don't pay attention to news and give it too. Yeah, exactly. I pay attention as much as I need to, and that's about it. I should probably pay attention a little bit more than what I do.
Infected just hopped that fence.
I did not see that, but I heard it.
Shouldn't we hear gunshots or something?
Yes, this is why I was assuming that they were all dead. No, let's see. So 30 years older than me, you think that doesn't help? Oh god. Stop catching up from expanding your listing threefold? Man. You bought 3 printers, so you have 6 now? 7? 6? Something like that? You also run a small business, Lurius? What do you run? You don't have to shout about it, you can rant all you want. You just hear news from people you lived around? Wait. Wait. A 3 can print 2 things. Wait. You only have 5? Oh, you sold some. Forgot about that. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. You hear news from people you live around? Yeah, I normally see my news on social media and people I talk to be honest. Which is not great. This does not sound like fun going in here. I do not approve. I do not approve! I do not approve. Where is this person? I mean, it's not a person.
Run.
Oh my god! Kevin! Thank you for the 100 biddies, but God! Why? Right! I'm sure you've seen regular supports. I've also spent a ton making Viney supports that save filament and time. Ooh! That's really cool. I never like got into the whole like designing stuff for 3D prints. That's really cool. You run a graphics business, you make stickers, decals, wall decals, custom mug shirt. Wow! That's so much! That's so much! So, I asked Quilpy about doing this, and she approved. At some point, I want to make a thing in Discord like Quilpy has for the marketplace, where everyone can just post like their businesses and like stuff that they make and stuff. What is that? Oh my. But yeah, once I do that, I want you to post all your stuff. You so hungry? Ooh, I have leftovers. You told me to download a game and play it without looking a single thing up about it. Would you? Outer Wilds. I would consider it. Where are they looking? Okay, okay. I would consider it. Ah! I made an oops! I made an oops! I made an oops! Can you send that to me? Or put it in, oh my god, Dina, fuck. If you could send it to me or put it in the recommendations in my Discord, that'd be great. So I will immediately forget it. It's the best blinder game suggestion. Okay, okay. I will attempt to go through my recommendations channel after I'm done with the like 4 games that I currently am trying to finish on stream. I'm assuming you want me to stream it, right? Not just play it to play it. What the fuck do I do here? They can all see each other. Yeah, okay, so Leisure Suit stream is gonna be when I come back from next week's little excursion. What the hell do I do here? Oh, do you go into a different room? Are you gonna stay in that other room? You're coming back to this room! Alright, so... I think my plan of action is to wait for that guy to go in the other room and wait for this guy to come over here and just fucking yeet his brains. I will catch up on chat in 1 second, folks. I'm so sorry. Actually, you know what? Let's just eat this guy's brains right now. Come here, buddy. Oh no, that guy. Oh shit. Oh god. Stealth is not my forte. Where'd you come from, my dude? Where did you come from? Oh my god. Oh, look at me! Thank you for the 100 beauties for playing Crab Rave, girlfriend. I also, let me kill this other. Oh, you got him! Nice, Dina. Thanks for being helpful. Appreciate you. Anyways, as I was saying, I'm gonna back up here into safety real fast.
That's that.
Just gonna kind of yeet myself over here. I'm gonna go through Pepperidge Farm remembers. Thought platforms and puzzles were my forte. You know, both of them are my forte. Alright, I'm gonna catch up on chat. You would buy it for me. I mean, if you want to, you can. I'm not gonna ask you to. But I will eventually get around to playing all the things in my suggested list. Third stream that someone has suggested that game and... Oh, really? Just for tonight? That's awesome. It must be a really good game then. You just eat yourself in there and beat their heads in. I did it, girlfriend. God tier games, and then there's this game. Oh. Is part 2 just as good as the first game? For Last of Us, so far, yes. First stream playing it, I literally cried my eyes out. If that tells you anything about how good it is. No other game does what this game does. Is the subscription coming to you? You know it's not. I'm sorry, Leslie. I'm going the opposite way. The radio you're hosting your car busted? Fuck, Lamp. That sucks ass, dude. I'm so sorry to hear that. Sad ukulele noise. Dude, ukulele can kiss my ass. I'm sorry. The second one, specifically. Ugh. You like The Last of Us as much as you did 1? Did they get multiplayer yet? Not that I know of. Not that I know of. You just missed your other comment? What did I miss? This is the third stream that someone has suggested. I got that. Oh, you can make a lot more than just those. You make canvas for a kid who loves watching a gaming streamer and wanted a logo massive canvas. Ooh! Car wrap? You're actually working on one for your own car. That's amazing. Do you draw the own stuff? Or like do you have like commission other people to draw it and then you like you put it on your stuff that you make? Pepperidge Farm remembers ukulele streams. Oh god. Is it what you think it is? What do you think it is? Because I don't know if I've said anything about this, honestly. We have a brand Jen, thank you for the follow. Thank you so much for the follow.
This one's fresh.
Is it bad that the pan?
Wolf.
I immediately thought of like my band pan, just like
Guess I didn't make it out with
wet.
the gas after all.
That's good, right?
If those
You do love your
fuckers
own
had killed
drawings,
Joel by taking out by
LaRose!
some random infected.
LaRose!
Then they'd still be
Did I know this? I feel like I knew this.
I'm not sure that's justice.
I feel like I know this. I just forget
I'll
all
grab
the
what we can
things. 'Cause
while we're
my
here.
brain just randomly dumps info all the time, and I'm so sorry. If you told me this, thank you for telling me again. Okay, how do I open this? It's barred. Oh no, they dead souls. Oh no. Heck. Okay. I don't hear anything. Danny's ukulele stream is like your Jagged Alliance too. Oh no. Okay, I'll read it after stream then, Leslie. If you're talking about court, no. I don't think we're doing that anymore, but potentially. It's a game that you're so sad you can't go back and play again for the first time. This is the only way to watch is other people. Oh man. You've not commissioned anyone to draw anything for your business yet? Maybe someday, but you get some form of partnership going. Oh, that'd be so cool. You know, we have a resident artist in chat right now called Lessie. Gumpy will forever be in our hearts. Poor Gumpy. Poor Gumpy. Rip the Gumpy. You're Artie Boyo. You'll tell you as many times you have to. Good. Please keep telling me. Keep reminding me. You do calligraphy too? That's amazing. Oh my gosh. It gives me ideas, Larus. That gives me ideas.
They've been shot.
They were shot.
No.
Maybe someone else killed these guys. The infected just wandered in.
I know what it seems like. Also, there's gonna be a heckin' jump scare. I'm not prepared. I'm not prepared at all. You watched this Red Soul Eater. I have watched, I want to say like 5 episodes of Soul Eater, maybe a few more. Do I remember any of them? Not really. Dina, you're spooking me. You're spooking me, Dina.
Hey, found their gas.
Well, if we need any more, we know where to get it.
I keep hearing sounds. Sounds, I don't know, it kind of sounds like a TV mixed with like zombo sounds. Thank you for the bed. Maybe there's somebody actually up here.
Drive by. Santasia is precious. Got him anyway, Toodles, and don't try it. Dark Pie 11 know yo heart.
Nina, back at you. I already tried it. Bam, got him. You're more of a Tokyo Ghoul or Bleach Boyo? Yo! That's awesome. I haven't watched Tokyo Ghoul, but I want to. If I want this thing done, you can do it up. You can even make a custom sticker pack for me? LaRusse! Yes, please. Gumpy is now prescient in heaven. Oh my gosh. Death the Kids guns have been a big seller. That's so cool. How big are they? Central Santy is finishing stream later than you can take it, seems. Aww. It's okay, Alex. I'm sorry. It's a little bit later than I expected to go, honestly, but I'm having fun. So I'm going longer just because I'm having fun with the game and with you guys. But thank you for the lurk. I appreciate you. What was that? That was a little bit of a creaky noise. They're just pistols? But like, you know, video game. Could be any size, really. I wanna break it, but I don't wanna alert anything to my existence. You can only make things so big. You're doing about 2,000 hours of machine time. Jesus, that's crazy. Your EST ass needs to call it quit for now. Thank you, girlfriend, for coming in stream. And again, Alex, thank you for the raid. I appreciate you. I appreciate all of you coming in with the raid too. Yeah, great. You sell things up to about 1 foot long / tall. Nice. A super small machine to cut for you? Wait, what kind of machine cuts? Like what kind of machine? Like how does it cut? Game manuals reveal new upgrade branches. Ooh. Nice. Company fulfillment you told me about has saved you so much money, right? Back when I used to live there, it saved us a lot of money too. There's a super small machine to cut for you. Oh, I read that. I read that. You're renewing your board pass this weekend? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. You brought a printer for the shizzle. Wait, did you have a printer too? You have a printer too? No way. Oh, I'm not reading this. Sorry. Too much writing. Brain cannot handle that amount of reading right now. Used to have a vinyl cutter. It was too close on bills from a rent raise and you had to sell it. Oh, that's sad. Did you have a lot of fun with it though? Did you get a lot of good use out of it? Oh, you got die cut. Nice. I love die cuts. I use them a lot when I used to teach. Well, love it. I didn't use them a lot. I used them once I had a job that used them. Oh my god.
Shit.
We had the OG die cuts back in the day. They were like those little metal
What the
things.
fuck happened here?
Like basically stamps, but like little metal bits. You put the
Tommy did
paper in
this.
the like rolly majig and like you roll it and like you like
This?
press it on there.
No way.
That's the OG die cut.
He's one of the ones that killed Joel.
Good! Fucker. Also, spoiler alert.
Shit. There's another one over here.
Wait, what does that say? East 1
I don't recognize
7302. 7302!
He was using them against each other.
Wait, Tommy? Wait, Tommy did this?
Joel told me about this. You ask this guy a question, but you don't make him say it. You make him write it down. And then you ask this guy, and if the facts match, you're telling the truth. If not,
You fuck him up.
yeah.
Ah. Yikes.
East 1. Another gate code?
Looks like it.
This just happened now. He can't be far off.
Do you tell me he closed and locked all these gates and unplugged all the things before we got here? Plot holes. Plot holes. I swear to God, if you get jumped by a zombie, I'm not saving your ass.
Come on. We can get out this way. Maybe catch up with Tommy.
Yeah.
Alright, let me read the chat. It's called a deco machine. You put this on. Alright, read that. Not printing the passport, you're printing the form for the passport. You know what? I'm glad that you clarified that just in case, but I didn't think that. You just made your mom a wall decal? Oh, what was a decal? I wanna know. Never got used to it the 6 years you had it. Also, had to sell your Majora's Mask? No. Sad. Of the island she lived on. Oh, when she was little, that's so cute. What island was that? You made some business shirts for a few places around where you live too. Wait, how much do you charge for those? Like a polo with a logo on it? How much do you charge for that? Cause I might, you know, request a thing. You have a cricket? Nice. I like crickets. Crickets are so nice. I want one so bad. Alright. Fuck you and fuck you too. Goodbye! Alright, there's something over there. A hammer? Alright! Bet. Wait, you mean I don't have to break the window to that door? I was looking forward to it. I can't even break the glass on the window right there. Woo! Let's go. Woo!
I know
You
you
bought
said Ellie
yours
had a rough past,
for
but
your job, then lost your job. Oh, your campus
okay?
job.
Yo, what's up, chat?
It wasn't
Always
me.
remember,
I don't want you to
stay
think
thick,
bad of Todd.
right?
Ellie,
You beautiful
if I had
people,
my
love ya.
sister's killers tied to a chair, I'd do worse.
I hear you.
Sorry. For shirts with logos, if you want a polo, you'd have to look what's normally anywhere between 20 and 30. That's Canadian, right?
Come on, guys, can I get some young in the chat?
I'll have to look into that. Because I think shipping across border might be a little much too. I'll have to ask you about that. If I want to try streaming, do it. Do it. If you, let's see, do I have it in my server? I think I do. Yes. If you need help with, like streaming things, I have a Discord server and a channel in my Discord where it's called Streamer Help. You can post anything that you want to know about streaming, anything you need help with, want advice on, just want like other feedback on. It's a lot of fun. Highly suggest it. And yeah, if you need help, we're here for you. Let us know. Was that Rob? That was Rob. You know who Rob is? LaRusse, you know the rest of our community? Hold on. You guys are wasting points if you want to see the end of Leaders of Sandy. Oh, God. Oh, Alex. First week of November is what I'm planning on for Leisure Suit stream. You don't know, but you normally cover half the shipping. You don't gotta cover half the shipping. Please. Please. Wait. Oh, we don't have the chunk command. Oh, no, we have the Bork command. Let's see, with the Bork command. You know Rob? You watch Boyzar. Wait, so you know that entire crew? Man, I thought you just came from Quilpy's side. Holy. I didn't know you knew that side of our community. Also, I already forgot the code for this. Oh no. Oh no.
You get the
Also,
generator. I'll look in the gate.
Jinjin.
Remember the code?
Spider Monkey.
Yeah.
Got it.
Got it. And I got this.
Thank you, Dina.
Question though, where does this take us?
No idea. Absolutely zero clue.
I say we find shelter and we set up camp. Maybe somewhere high up so we can scope out the area. I like
Finding
that idea.
shelter? Alright, alright.
Okay. Let's look for an open building.
Preferably with no infected. Or WLF.
Wolves.
Whatever.
I still have some of those almond things left if you're hungry.
Almond things.
Not really.
You should eat something. Oh my god.
What?
I sounded like my mom just now.
I'll be fine.
Wait, I can't open my... I'm so confused. There's 53% with LaRusse? Nice, nice. Then ended up with Beth, and then Beth handed you off to a lot of people. Oh my gosh! That's so awesome! Do you know Jessica Rabbit then? They're kind of in the, that same grouping of people. Jessica Rabbit is super awesome. Highly suggest, actually. We've streamed with them a few times. You know, but I've been to a stream? Definitely go to one of those streams sometime. Definitely 100% suggest. Did you tell you got promoted to mod for Jess? Hell yeah! That's awesome! Congrats! Don't walk away from me! Bro, she about took my horse and left! I love Jess. Oh my fuck!
Get the other! Don't lose her! Go!
The poor horse! No! What the hell is wrong with you people? If someone ends up dead, I'm gonna lose my absolute mind.
Didn't think I'd ever see you again.
Who the fuck are you?
How'd you find us?
I asked about a dude with a bitch scar across his face.
Ha!
How many came with you? Just you two?
You can't stop this.
Jordan! You're supposed to be out looking for the other one. What the fuck is this?
Wait, she ran?
You know the smuggler
Good.
that we killed out in Jackson?
Yeah?
This girl was there.
What?
They're coming after us. That's why Nick was fucked up like that. We gotta get her to Isaac, and we gotta tell him exactly what's going on.
Yeah, well, I just got off the radio with Isaac. And we got a new mandate. Kill all trespassers.
Oh, hold up. That doesn't make any sense.
Direct order, man.
No, let's talk to her. Let's figure out what she knows.
I don't give a fuck what she knows. You saw what she did to the others?
You have no idea how many people she might be with. This might be an ambush,
I don't care
Mike.
how many people she's with. We will find them. We will kill them.
Can you just think for yourself for a quick
Jordan,
second
get the
right
fuck
now?
out of my way.
Oh! Dina, let's go! Oh, she does not sound okay.
Jesus. Come here.
You shouldn't be here! You should not kill Joel!
Dina!
Excuse me. Wait, what's circle? Circle! Come on. Come on! I'm not good with quick time events! Get fucked! Get absolutely fucked.
Are you okay?
Mostly.
Ellie. We should go. Somebody would have heard the gunshots. Look, she's one of them. Come on. Look at that later.
Who's
Was there a
she?
TV station on that map? I don't fucking know. Come on.
Sorry guys, I'll catch you on chat once this all is over. What do I do here?
Go around.
Go around, she says. Oh god, that's not where I thought that would be.
Shit! Get them down!
Alright, we're good, we're Gucci. I don't think I got shot there.
How many guys did you see?
Enough. We gotta get the hell out.
Oh, I didn't mean to do that! Wait, okay, hold on. How did I do that? No, not that. How did I change my guns? Oh, this. I want that gun. Yeah, alright. Alright, sorry guys. Sorry, chat. Anything of who else you've been around yet? You haven't made it to Ducky Source, that's fine. We stand Ducky and Rob though. Is that happening all over again? The whole switch in the Discord, is that the stream help? So there's a no. The help is if you need help like immediately need attention from somebody in our Discord, the streamer help down in the general section is where the channel is. You didn't know you had a self-promo channel? I do! I do! Who is the person on the poster? Do we know? What poster? What poster? Oh, the one where she's like, oh, they're with, or she's with them? I don't remember at all. Continue epics with Susie No-Scope people in Mozambique saying he last was. Oh, he was worse than you, dude, bro. I love the Watch Nemos. They're so good. Ducking you into each other's islands? Dude, that's amazing. Also, I'm gonna shamelessly plug my Udi stuff again. Again, I don't make money off of this. I'm just trying to pass the savings along to you guys. Use the code at checkout. Y'all get $30 off. And this is my Udi. It's super comfy and soft and warm and nice. Only Santy. Oh my gosh. How dare you leak my Only Santy?
It was this way! Move up! Clear the rooms.
Alright, where did they go? In here? I don't see any items over there. Where'd this boyo go?
Not here. Form a grid. Find him, quick.
Ha! Get wrecked! I love this revolver! Come out. Got him. Ah! Who just got shot? Did you get shot? You don't have shit trapped. Come in here, bet.
I don't see them.
Yeah, well, I see you. Ah! Oh my god. I have to reload. Reload! You like the Engie and the Gasm one? You don't have the Gasm one? Wait! How much? What do you gotta do to get the Gasm one? But I'm posting a sub promo, but good to know. Yeah! Yeah! I'm glad that you found it though. Now you know.
You good? Yeah. You recognize any of these guys?
No.
Okay. Any items? I do need the big items. Ammo. Don't see any more items. Tier 2, gotcha. Good to know, good to know. Can't find streamer help? Hold on. How do you become a crack streamer? Let me see. I will tag you in it. Oh, good thing. Thank you, Alex, for tagging them in it. Appreciate it. Do you have to react to a rules thing in your Discord to access all the channels? Yes. If you have not read the rules yet, make sure you go read the rules and it will tell you how to gain access to the rest of the server. If you only see like 4 channels or something like that, there's a whole server waiting for you after you read the rules. The rules! Oh shit. Figured that could be the issue. Yeah, it probably is.
You, hold the cafeteria. I'll cover here.
Right.
Ah! Who do I go for? This lady? You can move them around with L for a short time. Ooh! This is why they showed it to me with people, because I get to do this with people. Oh, where'd the guy go that was over here? Oh, there they are. Hey, buddy, can you not look my way? Thank you. Come here, buddy. Come here, buddy. Oh my god, I love that you added the rules command.
I don't know. Oh no.
Spread out.
Above us? Back. What are you doing coming down here? Go away. Go away. Don't look at me. I still haven't killed the other one yet.
Heads up. To our left.
That's fine. I like that I can do this. Just little sneaky deaky like, you know? I'm still concerned as to where the lady went that went into that room. Oh god. Don't look at me, don't look at me! Ah! Oh, now I found them, I think. Alright, come over here. Dina. No, you're fine, John. Don't worry about it. You'd be surprised at like how many people don't realize that that's a thing that you can do with servers. You're totally fine. Honestly, I think the first server I saw that had one of those, I definitely did not understand what to do. You might have to nickname you in the Discord because your Discord name is the same. I know who you are in there. You're the Lunar Q, right? Unless I'm remembering that completely wrong. Can you do your own nicknames? Or do I need to change that as a setting? What champ I know? Okay, good. I'm glad I remember that correctly. Grabbing through glass I don't think is supposed to happen. I'm glad it can. Also, Dina just teleported again. But yeah. That was nice.
Fuck, there's a lot of them.
I'm a magician.
I told you.
Well, good to know, good to know. Not many people know that's you? Yeah, you told me. I think when you joined the Discord, you told me that was you. But if you want to change your nickname, you can do that. Yeah, okay, good. Glad. You use the same name on everywhere. I do too. It makes everything so much easier. Because then I don't have to remember myself what my name is on everything. I just use the same name everywhere. Okay. I think we're good. I did want to check the other body over here. I'm pretty sure I didn't grab whatever was on it. The very first one I killed. Oh, maybe I did. No, I did. Okay, cool. I like there's just like a hammer on my the side of my bag. That's so funny. Wait, can I climb? Oh, there we go. Wait. Oh, there we go. You mostly think your origin is different though? Yeah, it is. Really use the same name everywhere, but you don't want to open that can of worms in chat. That's fine. You don't have to say anything you don't want to.
Have a look here. Fuck these wolves. Steal their shit.
Hell yeah. I don't need most of it, but I got it.
Oh no. Over there. Ellie, get down.
Woo!
Where's Adrian's patrol? Fuck. Hey, you two! Trespasser's gone.
What?
You seen anything?
No.
Cover this group. I'll check over here.
You sure she's not on the street? Did you look?
How would she get down there?
I don't know. Has this been called in?
Greg went out to Capitol Hill. We should be back with those guys any minute now.
So, do I just crawl out of here? I wonder if it's possible to do a pacifist run in this game.
Where'd everyone go?
See anything down there?
There's no one here.
This doesn't feel right.
Come with me. Let's check.
Where are they? Oh, yeah, there's one over there. I just saw their feetsies. Try getting a PS4 or wait to get PS5. I think you should look at what games there are on both and what's coming out for the PS5 and go from there. Really, it just depends on what games you want to play. And also if you care about having the newest technology and stuff like that. It's not that you don't want to, you just don't say certain things about making a streamer feel like a community grabbing from them. No! Of course not. Yeah, exactly. I would definitely research them. So because the new PS5 has some downgrades? Wait, really? My PC, yes, for sure. There's certain things you might benefit from. So what did they change? If you don't mind me asking. I actually haven't looked into them at all. Are we good? Are we Gucci? Think we're Gucci? Do I need to go kill them? Or... I think we're good. Woo! I kind of want to go kill them just because I hate this group of people, but like... I also don't want to die. I don't have my PS3 anymore. I also used to have a PS3 though. I actually really enjoyed the PS3. Got Xbox One. You got the Xbone. Dude, Switch is nice. No, I kinda... Okay. I kinda wanna go kill them. But I won't. They're making the units too expensive to build and actually losing money selling them? Wow.
Anyone got a visual? Talk to me, anyone. What do we got?
Hold on. Originally, they're selling higher quality machines while losing money. Oh, wow. That's crazy. So they downgraded them. Just because they were losing money. It's kind of shitty. Locked? F. Okay. So I think I have to kill them.
What about this?
Never mind.
Let's try it.
Oh, are you talking about Little Big Planet, Leslie? Little Big Planet is literally my favorite PS game, like in general. Not unheard for consoles to lose money if they're trying to get people into the ecosystem? Oh. Interesting.
We gotta get away from this school.
Especially if they get some spicy subscription service to offer people. Bleh. Bleh. I don't know anything about the subscription services. I'm gonna be real with you guys. I haven't done console stuff in years. Alright, so we gotta long jump this shit. How do I do that? Sprint? And then X?
I got it.
Come on. Okay. I don't think there's anything in here. Nope. That's nothing I need. Well, actually, I should start crafting stuff. Let's do that. So I keep like getting full on things. Should really be crafting things. Now that is empty. Why am I holding this? Stop that. Alright, is this our shelter? Gonna hide out right across from the enemies. Full on ammo. Why is there music like that right now? I am playing on my PS4 right now and capturing it using a capture card on my computer. So what's running my game is the PS4. But I'm playing, like I'm looking at my computer while I'm playing it, if that makes any sense. Honestly, platform doesn't really matter. It's really just about what games you want to play. I would look at all the different platforms and then go from there. Honestly. Like, personally, I like the PC a lot better because I can just have all of my games here in one spot. And most of the time, games get ported to PC anyways. But there are, like, console-specific games.
Alright, coast looks clear. Yeah. I think we're good.
That's true.
Check this out.
Who is that?
She's one of them.
Well, fuck her then.
Haha!
Read the letter. Jordan. Isaac's got us posted up on a 2-week at the TV station. Scars spotted in the area. Here's something to hold you over, Leah. TV station. You think she's still there? We gotta find out, right?
Leah? Why does that name sound familiar?
Oh. It's by all these tall buildings. That way.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Okay. Let's go get Leah.
There's been some PS games you wish you could play. Yeah, that's why, like, I have both because there's games on both that I really want to play. Yeah, there's also Switch titles that are exclusive to the Switch that I also really want to play. And I've always been a Nintendo person anyway, so I have, like, almost every Nintendo console. But yeah. One reason you say PC is because a large percent of exclusives get ported to PC and not to cross-platform consoles. Yeah, exactly. A lot of things do get ported over, but there are still exclusives. God of War? Nice. That's awesome. That's gonna be really good, actually. That was announced at what, E3, right? If I remember correctly? You're buying a Steam Deck? Yeah. Yeah. I have it pre-ordered. I kind of went on a self-destructive path for a hot second. I pre-ordered one.
I thought I was fucked back there. Thanks for the save, by the way.
Alright, so I think it is time for me to save this game. I don't know how to do that though. Oh, there's that. It's the autosave, okay. Save. I'm gonna save it one more time because I always do that. Oh wait, there's manual save 1 and 2. Oh shit. Okay, manual save 2. Just overwrite, yes. Saving twice. Alright. Anyways, guys. Have you raided Rob recently? Is that an option? I did raid Rob, but I think it was a while ago when he was doing his event stream. If you would like to have me raid Rob, feel free to use the points redemption to guide a raid. You wanna buy a Steam Deck? Do it. Is Bloodborne on PC? Yes. Or wait, is it not? Maybe it's not. I thought it was. No, it's not? Oh my god, I thought it was. Heck. Okay, then there's your answer. It's not. You was on call with her when she did it? Yeah, you did. You were. Basically, the reason you still on PS4? Heck. Don't have enough points. Someone help. Poppy Gamer. I don't know who was all on yet, but I'm waiting to look at who's on until somebody uses a points thingy, just in case, because I don't want to like choose somebody to raid and then somebody plan on using a points.
I do €5.
Alright, I opened up Twitch to look at who was on. Fuck. But anyways, yeah, I'm not gonna like look at my list yet in case somebody wanted to use that. I don't wanna like choose somebody and then that happen, you know? I'll give you a few seconds. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna switch OBS back over to some just chatting. Thank you guys for coming out tonight. I really appreciate you all being here. It's been lots and lots of fun. Hope you guys enjoyed some Last of Us. Yeah, he's begging and pleading. Oh my. Oh my. Oh my god. Because if you guys don't have enough points, I do have somebody in mind, actually. Hold on. Okay, so. Okay, so I have somebody real quick. So, these guys are some IRL friends for me. And they're trying to get affiliated. So it would mean tons and tons to me if you guys would help them out, give them a follow, check them out, you know? They're super awesome people. Love them lots. And I've known them forever. So, be a huge, huge favor of me to ask you guys if you would like to give them a follow and help them out on their affiliate journey. Again, thank you guys for tonight, for hanging out, chatting, watching, lurking, for gifting. Y'all are amazing people. And I will see you all tomorrow for some Forewarned. I think we are starting around 7 Central Time, 8 Eastern Time. But I will let you all know tomorrow. I think that's when we're starting. But yes, copy and paste that into their chat once we get into their chat. Feel free to replace my emote with your emote or somebody else's that you like if you don't have my emotes. So yeah. They're also, I don't know if they still are playing Bloodborne, but they were playing Bloodborne. So, yes. I will see you guys over there, and I will see you tomorrow for some Forewarned with some streamer friends. Have a good night, everybody. Bye-bye.